Can you reach number 3?
Lil Kim.
It's channel 3. No,
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I think that's the one. That's the track. No, that's not it. No, maybe it's 2. No, it's 1. Is that it?
No. Yeah, exactly. Let's do this.
I'm hearing it now. No, go to 1 again. No, it's not it. Try 2.
There's no
Which
plug
one?
in it.
I don't know.
Okay, get it before he starts.
Nope. No, go to, I don't know, 1, 2.
Hold on, let me see.
Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 2. Here, it's this one.
Is
Coming
this
out
one?
of this one.
It's this guy here.
There it is. Down. There you go.
All right, so we got NCA
7.
at 7. We got Houston at 8. Right? Or what do we
Well,
got?
we can talk about the day, but we're gonna have 8:30 is the guy at 8:30.
Okay, so we got
The charity guy.
so then let's do Ahmed at 8 o'clock.
Who's the man?
That's the guy I told you who was watching the Lion's Den and got offended because his family's there and they were talking about how it was a giant white conspiracy to keep, the resources and it. This is my guy. He's like big time marketing guy.
Uh-huh.
I told you about him.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get back to his family. But the things he's been through 3 floods personally, the things that you need to do, etc. So I'll give you his number. He also is like the head of Common Ground. Well, not Common Ground. Houston.
Charles, what was the thing that you posted this morning about the? What was the thing you posted this morning or last night about the lobbyist?
Oh, I just that woman that
Wait, when are we doing?
she's kind of.
So then let's do that at 8 then.
What's
Let's
the lobbyist lady.
no.
Let's go inside, baby.
No. I'm saying let's do the. When are we doing politics? SB. When are we
School
doing
funding bill?
school funding? We got so we can do that at 6.
What's
We
this
can,
stuff?
can we tie it into the social media? Let's tie the what happened politically into the social media question of the day, because then it can give us.
I think your
6
social media question should be related to the sanctuary state.
That could work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth losing federal funding to make Illinois a sanctuary
That
state?
works.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I think can you go down on that little bit, Todd?
Sure.
Whichever one we have.
I don't remember
that
that.
one. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Visit WVON.com and click the State of the African American for more information. Get involved. Comcast Business offers fast and reliable internet speeds in your area. Call 1-800-501-6000 now and choose a fast internet plan. And add phone and TV for just $34.91 per month. All the fast Comcast Business internet speeds include business Wi-Fi, access to millions of national hotspots, 24/7 customer service, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Start your installation today. Call 1-800-501-6000 now and select a fast internet plan based on
All right, y'all. Charles is over there reading his fan.
Yeah, fan mail, man. This interesting letter. Somebody typed the letter out, front and back.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Man, we got a cluttered stage. Todd needs to probably come in here and get that stuff together. Uh-oh, we might have something, y'all. We might have it. We might begin some Mevo action today. All right, y'all. Here we go. Connect. Give me some love. Give me some love. Make it work for you, brother. Make it work. What's up, y'all? Good morning. How is everybody feeling? Don't do me wrong. Come on, y'all. Good morning, Erica. Good morning. Charles got his phone this morning, y'all.
My stuff, man. I got my strap. I'm strapped up. Strapped up.
Yesterday they took down the video because of the music. Sometimes when we use copyrighted music, the artist will have you take it down. Have you subscribed to the video? Everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. Oh, what's up, Anthony Robinson? World is in the hands. Very best you can. No better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. Gotta change it, girl. Just you and me. Wake up, all the doctors, make the old people well. Has so very long before their judgment day. Won't you make them happy before they pass away? Wake up, all the time to build a new land. I know we can do it. If we all in the hand. What up, Kenneth Briscoe? What up, Phyllis Sway? They do it every time. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Charles, how you feeling this morning?
Man, I'm feeling woke. I my stuff here. I'm looking at Facebook Live. I'm looking at all the other ways we have to communicate. I'm feeling good, man.
Ah, you're locked and loaded, man.
Locked
you got
and
your
loaded.
weaponry.
Fully strapped.
Fully strapped. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. This is WVON Morning Show. We could not do this show without the WVON Morning team. So I got to say what's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Annette, how you feeling this morning? Wah, wah. It feels kind of like, fall is upon us, man. I feel like fall. I feel like it's coming up on us, man.
Can you believe that? I mean, it's almost September.
Charles, almost like we're almost done three months in the quarter blown through.
We've done 4. Wait a minute, April, May, June, July, almost 5 months.
Ooh, wait. I'm here to tell you that time is flying. Time flies when you're having fun. That's right. Now, speaking of flying, we cannot fly the soul plane without the musical conductor of the soul plane. That's right, Miss Sonia Escobar. Sonia, how you feeling this morning? I can hear you.
You're loud and clear.
Oh, God.
The whole what?
Football situation.
Football.
We kind of missing out, man. I feel kind of disconnected. I done missed a couple drafts. Paid my money all up front. You seeing all the commercials, but boy, could they just sign Colin Kaepernick, please?
Yeah, but we got the football classic coming up,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
I got
you
you.
get your football fixed in.
Okay, well, I
Right.
try.
Yeah.
We try, man. I'm gonna have to watch some college football. That's right, Charles.
Yeah, watch college football, high school football.
Man, we gonna watch something, man. Oh yeah, high school football is good, Charles. But let's get into it this morning, cause did you hear about Lil' Kim?
Lil' Kim.
Lil' Kim launched a missile, man.
Went over Japan, man. And Trump said if he fired off some stuff, he was gonna react to it. But he was talking about Guam, right? If he fired it near Guam, then the United States would react. But I think the United States might have more military installations in and around Japan than it does around Guam. Now, I don't know because I'm not a military guy, but we got a lot of stuff in Japan too.
We got stuff in Japan?
Oh man, in Okinawa they have a military, they have Navy bases, they have actual troops on certain islands around the mainland.
That's right, because we've sworn to protect Japan, right? After we
I guess, because Japan really doesn't have a really developed military of its own because of after World War II, they said, no, you all can't strap up like you used to. But I don't know. I mean...
They told that to Germany too, huh?
Yeah. It's provocative, to Trump, and everybody kind of is holding their breath because you don't know what Trump might do, what he might say. This is Trump. It's a new game.
It is a new game in town. Well, Lil' Kim, I'm gonna tell you, man, you better stop popping off, man. I'm not cause I'm trying to tell you, punk or anything. I'm just saying, Lil' Kim, Donald Trump is crazy. He get with you crazy, man. He will get with you crazy. All right, child. Speaking of crazy, man, did you see Officer Scarface? Did you see the video of Officer Scarface who decided that he wanted to make his own home video and shoot 16 times in the car with a car full of black teenagers?
Well, I know, but he now is facing the possibility that he might have to go spend some time, with the Illinois Department of Corrections, and that could be, a difficult period for him.
It can be intimate.
Yeah.
It can be pretty intimate.
You have to give it up to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that finally appears to be getting serious.
No, this went to the feds, bro.
I'm sorry,
this is a federal case.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
This is a federal case, man. Yeah, this is a federal case. But I always want to give Kim Fox some props, as long as she don't get in that pop tax. But the federal prosecutor, man, Charles, I think about this though. At the same time, the feds are doing what we can't seem to get our mayor to do. He's fighting them. Right? So we want justice for our young people. And here a federal judge has the opportunity and shows, what you call it, Charles, the chutzpah, to actually convince. It was actually not a judge, it was a jury.
Well, the feds have always been the jury of last resort when it comes to Chicago police. I mean, the state's attorney's office here traditionally has not been very aggressive in terms of prosecuting Chicago police officers. It's always been the feds. You go back to any number of cases over the years. It's always been the feds that have taken the serious steps. And you'd think that local authorities should have, the most intimate knowledge of these situations.
They do have the most intimate knowledge. They went to school together.
They haven't acted. They haven't acted over
Hey man,
the years.
you Charles, would you lock up your classmate? I mean, if you had the hookup, man. If if you was sitting you had the big black robe on, and your boy, your high school classmate comes through, you really think you locking them up?
It's a lot of. They say it's an incestuous situation. You have like judges who are related to police officers, and it goes down the line. And then you have the political relationships between the police union and the state's attorney's office.
Well, they got a patron saint too.
Hey.
What? No, Charles.
But the feds have locked up, a significant number of cops over the years, particularly in these corruption cases, more so than these abuse cases. But I mean, the corruption cases where they rob drug dealers and such, we've had several of those over the years, but it's always the feds that are doing it, not the state's attorney's office.
Hopefully that will change.
Hopefully that will change under Kim Foxx.
You know what, Charles? We've got a great show for you today. I cannot wait. Charles, did you see the updated cartoon? Did you see the updated cartoon?
Is it racist?
Is it racist now? So, we got the parents from the National Teachers Academy coming in today. They are going to be talking about the theft of a gifted black school from our kids. So we'll be talking about that. Plus, we'll get some more updates on what's going on in Houston. All that, plus the social media question of the day when we come back. It is the Talk Chicago at 6:17. I'm your man, Maze Jackson, with Charles Thomas. We'll be back.
More of the Morning Show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690.
Charles, talk to the people. Charles. Talk to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my stuff up here back again.
What's up, everybody?
I'm here. This isn't dead air.
This is mumble air. Hey y'all, hold on one second. I'm trying to get locked and loaded myself, actually.
Marco Proano. Well, I thought he was
Irishman.
Yeah. Historic verdict. Yep. I mean, things are obviously changing. I mean, to whatever extent. I mean, they would, that the feds would make a move on this unreasonable force charge. But we'll see. I mean, the next step is what kind of time do they give the guy? But the feds, I mean, they will give you time. They will give you time because they have this definitive. What do they call it? Sentencing thing where the judges have less latitude in terms of
sort of like what Kwame was passing.
Yeah, where they can, where you have to do the time, and when they give you the time in the federal system, you have to do 85% of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, have to do 85%. It's not any day for day good time situation. I mean, a lot of people have problems with that, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it has to be a lesson. I mean, man, you would think that that at the academy, the police training academy, they would basically use cases like this to let officers know how serious it is. So perhaps the tide is turning here. Perhaps the tide is turning, and we see them taking these cases a bit more seriously than they have in the past. Hopefully this just isn't a fad. It goes along with what's happening right now in terms of public awareness of it. But if it's the beginning of a trend, maybe it's the beginning of a change. Because how long has this kind of stuff been going on? And nothing's been done about it. The cases haven't even been charged.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Come on, people, come on. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing this morning? Give me a second. I'm still working on something over here. Trying to connect some things. So, that's why I got Charles talking to you. Good morning, y'all. How is everyone? We are over here trying to get you. I'm trying to get y'all some broad-based, wide camera action. Hey, I need some people to help me this weekend. What do I need to do to get y'all to help me do some? Any volunteers out there? I need to help. I need some people to help me. I need y'all to help save me, right? So, I need to get some signatures on some petitions. So, I need some help for me and my lovely bride. So, to my Facebook family, can I get a little aid and assist for a brother so I can get out the doghouse? I need armies. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. And Charles, big day in Springfield yesterday. Big day in Springfield. Boy, the governor, they passed the Senate bill. What did they?
The House. No, the House passed the education funding bill.
Do you know
after some theatrics?
So, Charles, there was a lot of trickery going on yesterday.
Well, a lot of stuntery, I think, as you call it. Some as only you could have in Springfield.
It failed. The bill failed. So wait a minute. There was the crisis of education funding yesterday was on the table. We had to fix the school funding formula.
Right.
And so there was a vote taken yesterday. But Charles, apparently it failed because Democrats were against the backdoor voucher program.
The tax credit scholarships that was introduced right here on the WVON Morning Show when Anthony Daniels was here some time ago, several weeks ago.
Right.
When it was just an idea out there. We started it here, and that was part of this bill where there would be these these tax credits sold to very wealthy people who would fund through the tax credit scholarships at private schools, not charter, private schools, whether it's a Catholic parochial school or a place like the Lab School or Latin School or Francis Parker. These tax credit scholarships would go to help students attend those schools. And the teachers union was outraged by this because they said it's a backdoor attempt at vouchers, which would send public money to private schools. But it passed after three chances. It was they introduced it and it failed miserably because a lot of Democratic reps in the House wanted to make their position clear that they didn't like this. Then they went back to the original school funding bill, which did not include the tax credit scholarships, trying to override the governor's veto of that bill, but they couldn't do it. So then they went back to the bill that includes the tax credit scholarships, and they passed it with 73 votes. So that's so after the theatrics, the bill is now law, And or it's not law yet.
It's still got to go to the Senate.
It's still got to go to the Senate, but the now that Speaker Madigan's group has approved it, you would think it's going to have easy passage in the Senate.
So it seems like that might eventually become a win for the governor in one way. But then, Charles, he then goes and signs this sanctuary state bill.
Well, going back to that bill, this might be the only thing from the conservative agenda that the governor has really accomplished in 3 years. I mean, the thing that's uniquely a conservative point of view, this whole school choice piece, even though it's not very large at $75 million, it might be the only thing that he can point to of a conservative agenda that he's really accomplished. And then he goes and he signs the sanctuary, what they call the Trust Act. But it's basically a sanctuary state bill, which says that state police will not alert federal authorities when they, encounter people who might be undocumented people who might be in the country.
So, which then puts a state in crisis in jeopardy of getting federal funding.
Well, if you extrapolate what the feds have said to the cities and the counties, to the state, yeah. I mean, whatever amount of money the feds might be sending to the state for law enforcement purposes, some of that money could be in jeopardy because of the governor signing this bill. But I think the biggest concern on the governor's part as he seeks re-election is that a lot of his base, his conservative base, particularly downstate, they care about this, and they're saying, "Well, why'd you do that, Governor? Aren't you with us? We're the people that voted for Donald Trump. We're the people that support the whole notion of, sealing the borders, so to speak." And he went against that, so he's got to deal with his base on this issue.
Not only does he have to deal with his base, Charles, sanctuary state, man. Okay, hold on. Let me just do it again. They don't call it a tale of two cities anymore. They call it a tale of three. Tale of black, white, Latino. They tell us that 1 in 4 black kids goes to an underperforming CPS school. 1 in 22 Latinos. 1 in 100 white kids. They tell us we have the highest unemployment in the country, and they are suing. Mayor Emanuel just tried to sue the federal government, who just threw him out, or is in the process of throwing him out, for making Chicago a sanctuary city. And the feds have said that they will not fund sanctuary cities, counties, states, whatever the heck it is. And the governor goes and signs that. What the heck is in that for the black people?
Well, I mean, I think you could always ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And you look at it and you say, well, really not much. I mean, there really isn't. But at the same time, that's not to say that there isn't compassion for people who come to this country from other places, from other countries, and are here undocumented. The fact of the matter is, there's not anything in it for black people, and they want to enlist the support of black people in the sanctuary movement. And all we do is ask, well, what's in it for us? And we can't really come up with an answer. The retort is always that it's racist if you don't support the sanctuary movement. And I have to, that's not the case.
You know what, Charles? This is driving me crazy. So we are going to make this the social media question of the day. Is it worth the cost of federal funding to make Illinois a sanctuary state? Is it worth it at all?
But it's not all federal funding. It's just federal funding for law enforcement that they're talking about here.
And you don't think it's going to go to food stamps? I would cut off. They're going to start cutting off. Well, think about all the benefits. The way to put pressure, Charles, is to say it's not just
I agree, police. But you got a journey through the court system in order to get to that point.
Is it worth it to make Illinois a sanctuary state? I don't know. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is the social media question of the day. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, plus Charles Thomas. We'll be back after news, traffic, and weather.
Big part of this discussion is this whole notion that if you oppose sanctuary state, then somehow you're a racist. And I think that a lot of people who oppose it are not opposing immigration. They're not opposing immigration. They're opposing.
What's the matter?
I don't know. She's talking about dense fog, and I didn't experience any on my way in.
I didn't either.
Bolingbrook today.
I didn't experience any fog coming from downtown.
Yeah.
Stop it, guys.
No, I mean.
I don't know. I mean,
So yeah. Okay.
it may have been coming from where she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 Hyde Park. 2, 1.
What's up, Chicago? It's your man, Mace Jackson, and it's time for the social media question of the day. So apparently yesterday, Governor Rauner, over the last week or so, Governor Rauner has signed a variety of bills. Quite a bit of criminal justice reform, even automatic voter registration. But yesterday, he also signed a bill to make Illinois a sanctuary state, in spite of all the challenges that black people have. So I want to know, the social media question of the day. Should Governor Rauner have made Illinois a sanctuary state? Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Post to Facebook or tweet, and we'll get your comments on the air. Charles, I think we got to take them from on the air, so let's be reading.
Take what?
We'll read comments from our people on the sanctuary city on the air, since, you know, we got the...
Because we don't have
the micro challenge. So, guys, if you could give us your responses on should Illinois be a sanctuary state, we'll read them live on the air. Little secret, we're getting new internet. So hopefully your broadcast is going, but while they're getting the internet, some of the things may be changing up a little bit with the phones. Configure Mevo. Wrong night. And when the groove is dead and gone, yeah, you know that love so right. So we can run forever. Rock you in the day. I want to rock with you. Should Illinois be a sanctuary state? Did Governor Rauner mess up? What's up, y'all? Good morning, Linda. Good morning. You heard a few. I want to rock with you. No, because the resources that's going to the illegals can go out south and west.
I'm having trouble getting back, getting my comments up. So, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't know if I can help you because I'm having trouble getting these comments up.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Robert. Hey, James Williams. What up, Kenneth Briscoe? What up, Sadiq? Reese Mo. Hey, Reese Mo said, whispers to God be the glory on the Wi-Fi. Have y'all been getting a straight signal today? What up, Carol? Yeah, Todd, can you see if they can get us the DHCP settings for the
for the router?
Yeah.
The wireless?
Yeah, the settings. I want to use this Mevo camera because it really would be super cool. And it keeps
DHCP. Write that down for me.
Okay, I'll give you all the stuff it asked me for.
Okay, and what I'll do is I'll do an email and I'll shoot the guy, and then
You
he'll
shoot
respond.
him, don't shoot him,
and then
man.
he'll respond back.
Okay,
Okay, it's both of us.
cool. I wanna rock with you, dance you in the day. I wanna rock with you, dance the night away. And when the groove is dead and gone, yeah, you know that love surrounds, so we can run forever.
Taking a look at our weather, cloudy skies for starters. The National Weather Service says we're in for some patchy dense fog until around 9 this morning. Returning partly sunny. Tonight expected isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm, high up to 63. Then tomorrow on Wednesday, mostly sunny. Temperatures near 80. It's 61 in Washington Park, 62 in O'Hare, and 61 degrees here at the top of Chicago. That's the look at weather now. I'm Annette Flores on the top of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. And Charles, we are asking a question. Should Governor Brown have made Illinois a sanctuary state? I don't know how I feel about that, Charles.
Well, you know, he did, not only did he sign the so-called Trust Act, which in effect makes Illinois a sanctuary state, he also signed the automatic voter registration bill, which would make it easier to register to vote. Now, a lot of people in his conservative base are concerned that these two things together, for them, is like matches and gasoline, because if you invite all of these undocumented people, illegal immigrants, if you will, into the state, will they go get their driver's licenses, which Illinois approved a few years ago, and automatically register to vote, and then somehow, disrupt? You'll have a lot of undocumented people then voting in elections, which, his base is very upset about this. But I think the governor's feeling is, his political strategy is, well, look, the Democrats, this is a push for him. He's not worried about alienating his base, because they're going to have a choice of a Democrat who is hyper pro-sanctuary state, as opposed to himself, who could be considered lukewarm on the idea, and that his Republican base will have nowhere to go in a general election except back to the governor. So I think that's the chance that he's taking with this.
Treating them like black people.
I guess he's taking his base for granted, because he knows
he treating them like black
they can't
people.
vote Democrat in the fall of 2018, And so this is a calculated political move on the governor's part. But I think he is alienating his base with this move because they are staunchly against this whole sanctuary city idea, sanctuary state idea. And keep in mind, I mean, they get accused of being racist for doing this by the left, by the Democrats. But they will come back and say we are against illegal, undocumented immigration, not immigration itself, but undocumented or illegal immigration into the country.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it seems to me that sanctuary state, no one has told me as of yet what is in it for the black people.
Nothing.
You say that they will tell us that it's racist, right?
I hate it when they accuse black people of being racist for asking the question. That's what they do, and that bothers me.
Can I go backwards though? Because black people, I don't believe black people can even be racist. I believe black people can be prejudiced, but not racist because we don't have the power that is required to be racist. So, Charles, I'm going to try something different today for the social media question of the day. I'm actually going to try and read some of the social media responses from our social media family. Now, if you are responding, let me tell you how. If you want to get your response read today, response and name, then I want to encourage you to go to Facebook Live. You can go to the Facebook Live by going to facebook.com/MAZ as in zebra, JAC as in cat. Go to the Facebook Live feed. You can actually go to the WVON Facebook page too. They're sharing it. But I'm going to read the comments live from my page. Now, Charles, have you been able to get any of the comments?
Yeah, I got a comment right here from Patah Rahotep.
Patah Rahotep. What's up, Patah? He's with us every morning.
If he says the state of Illinois can't take care of its own citizens, how can we take or give sanctuary to people that are not citizens of the United States of America? I totally disagree with Illinois becoming a sanctuary state, but it's politics.
Kenneth Briscoe says, no, he does not agree with it being a sanctuary state. Unless it's for all of us, it's a slap in the face. Jacob Israel said, no, because the resources are going to illegals can go to the south and west sides. You know, Charles, I just feel like there is... Oh, Rob Payback Ellis says, if Illinois is a sanctuary state, then it should be a reparation state as well. Hey, ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding. But you know what, Charles? They trying to give us reparations. Did you know, let me ask you a question. I'm going to jump around just a little bit. But Charles, speaking of reparations, did you see the good Reverend Dr. We Shall Overcome Forrest Claypool yesterday on the news?
Yeah, they were doing this thing about they want to teach about the Burge torture story.
Wait, are they having a torture class? They're going to teach you how to torture people?
They're going to recount the history of how black men were tortured in the 1980s and early 90s by Commander John Burge and his team of rogue detectives, or maybe they were the regular detectives. Maybe
they're judges now.
Yeah,
they're judges now.
Yeah, getting big fat pensions down in Florida. Yeah, but they want to teach that story as part of the curriculum in the Chicago Public Schools, and the CEO Forrest Claypool, also known as the Reverend Dr. Forrest We Shall Overcome Claypool, whose kids go to private school.
Let me ask you a question. You think one of his kids gonna get some of that scholarship?
I don't know, man.
That scholarship, that tax credit scholarship money.
If you look at his salary and the rate they charge at these private schools, you wonder, how does he afford that? Anyway, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, I wonder, I'm asking, I wonder if they teach the Burge torture story in his child's private school. What do you think? You think maybe they teach, or maybe in Rom's private school, the UC lab, where he sends his kids.
Now I'm about to get in on
$25,000 a year. Do you think that maybe they teach the Burge torture story in that school?
They want everybody to have a future.
I don't know. I think it'd be great if they did.
But then they wouldn't be able to know about their
But that would help them about the past. Maybe if they
Every
about
child
the
needs
past
to
at the
know.
private schools.
Dang, we already had slavery. I mean, we got Fred Hampton. I mean, we got enough stories.
Yeah, man, they could teach.
Do they
Fred
teach
Hampton
the Fred Hampton story?
in public school?
Teach that.
Teach that. Yeah. They could teach, man, it's a lot of stories. They could teach the Laquan McDonald story.
Ooh, the Laquan. Can I tell you though
they
something?
Could teach all these different stories about.
Now you want to know something. Now you know how the Black Caucus could have had a win in that one. You want to teach it? Make them teach it at Catholic school. That's where all the cops come from. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I am suggesting that if we really wanted to have sincere change, and we wanted to teach the John Burge story, so they did. Don't teach to the people that it happened to. We know how that hurts. Look. Can I tell you something?
Yes,
that hurts.
That's good. That's good. They should be teaching it. We don't need to know.
We know from the whips to the chains to the book. We know if the white dude does it, it's gonna hurt. Now, what you gotta do is teach the people that are administering the pain how it feels. So maybe instead, you know what? Maybe they should go back. Make sure. Maybe the next time they do it, maybe Cardinal Supich, because he got that $75 million. Hopefully he will stand next to the good Reverend Dr. Forrest We Shall Overcome Claypool. I think I got it right that time.
You got it right that time.
Hopefully he will stand next to him and they will embrace each other. They will walk to the front, sing Kumbaya, and they will share the classes with all of the kids. I don't think it should just be taught in CPS. Why are you teaching the Burge murders in CPS? Wouldn't it make sense to teach the people who go commit it?
So the next time you go to the police station and get your butt kicked.
Right. I learned about this in class. This is how y'all did that. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Ain't nothing funny about that, man. Ow! You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago. It's 6:47. We'll be back.
You get your ass whooped, you can sit there and say, yeah, I remember this.
I learned about this. Look, here you go. Look. Oh!
I hear that as a promo. That's coming. That's coming. Just be warned.
I learned about that in class. Look. Turn on the tape. Oh yeah! Is this the part where you put the electrodes on my testicles? You're right. I learned about that in class. Really?
Civics lesson.
You got the.
Well, there's the cartoon that they should make.
You got the cameraman. You got the cameraman.
Man, come in there and give me a good laugh in the morning. That ain't funny though. It's not funny, but it is true. It's not gonna stop it. It's not gonna stop it. You know, yeah, man. How they keep Negroes in their place. That's a good one. Yep, DS, that's a good one. How they keep Negroes in their place. Yep. We got off the subject though, didn't we? We were talking about sanctuary state. Yeah, I just hated the way they try to call people a racist when they say that when they're talking about undocumented immigrants. Man, that is so lame to call people racists because of what they think about undocumented immigrants. This isn't about immigration, man. I'm down with immigration. I think immigration is great. It's great. But man, isn't there a process for it? I mean, everybody gets just run over the border. I mean, and you know I'm telling the truth when I say that if all the people running over the border were Haitians or Nigerians sneaking in by the tens of thousands, man, it would be an entirely different attitude about illegal immigration, because that's what it is. This is not legal immigration. These people are not going through the process. They're just coming up in a back of a truck, sneaking in, and then, you know, and then in Cook County, they go into Cook County Hospital and getting treatment. and taking other. I mean, this whole sanctuary city, sanctuary county, sanctuary state thing is saying that these public services are available to you, even though you entered the country illegally. I mean, there's got to be some way to control this, because how in the world are we exposed to how are we supposed to absorb all this when we can't take care of what we have? I mean, Tony Preckwinkle is already talking about the county's public health care and public safety being under extreme pressure. They just can't afford it. So how are you going to take somebody from another country and bring them in and afford it to provide that service? I don't get that. I don't know that that makes any common sense. And I'm not a racist, folks. I mean,
you can't be a racist.
I can't be a racist. I'm just not. I'm not a racist. I'm just a person who knows how to count. I know a person who knows how to count. And if you're telling me you don't have enough money now, how are you going to invite somebody from some foreign country to come in to use the resources that we don't have enough money to support now? It doesn't make any sense, y'all. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm not a racist for saying that.
You gotta stop apologizing. You can't be a racist.
I can't be a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. You know that. I'm just talking about. I'm talking about mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Addition and subtraction. This ain't even complicated mathematics.
Monday through Thursday on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This traffic report is brought to you by Unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a new story. See potential, not poverty, at Unbound.org.
WVON traffic and weather now.
On some of the roadways, you may experience some dense, patchy fog.
I mean, it's very interesting. If you have enough money, if you're wealthy, you're not worried about people competing for resources.
Did you? It was.
But, you know.
On the inbound side of I-57 from I-80 to Ryan, 20 minutes along the board.
So you know what though? I think that every response for everybody that voted against, we got National Teachers Academy coming in here at 7 o'clock, which I think is perfect. So for every one of those people who voted against a voucher system, should not be voting to allow. They should all be standing up to say why they should not allow these gifted public schools to be closed. You can't have it both ways. Boy, sanctuary city or not though, y'all. Let's finish this social media question of the day. Sanctuary city or not? I need your responses online because we are getting our internet fixed. Can you guys see a difference in the internet, Charles? Is your stream coming clean?
It's much better.
Huh?
Much better.
Any
Much
breakups?
better.
No.
Huh?
No breaking up?
I'm not getting any breakup. I never get breakup, it seems. I just always get, like, it just stops.
So guys, we're trying to get it done better. So bear with us. But you know, if you keep listening, we keep getting upgrades. Now y'all got to listen so we can get a salary upgrade.
You know, just another thing too, man, about this whole sanctuary thing is that when you advertise yourself as a sanctuary city or sanctuary state, you are saying not only to people in Central America and other countries to come here, to come to Chicago, you're advertising yourself to all these other states that are not sanctuary states. Come to Chicago, come to Illinois, and you'll be cool.
Like New York nightlife, sleepless, sleep frequent subjects and prefix. Believers, number one, hot rap persona, phenomenon sabotaged in this wonderama. Off guard, the camouflage fatigue, slow your reflex. .com, World Wide Web, decipher secrets, block your defense. Rocking conversational pieces, watch the sands in the hourglass for the sequence.
Wonder why, Rob for legalized better.
You are tuned in to the Top Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Charles, social media question of the day. Should Illinois be a sanctuary state, man? Governor Rauner signed the bill yesterday. Combined with this automatic voter registration, are we being replaced?
I think
should we be marching?
We've talked about that, a lot. I think, I don't know. I certainly, yeah. Yeah, we have to say that we are being replaced.
Wait. We can't get no tiki torches, though, brother.
No tiki, yeah, we can't get no tiki torches.
We will not be replaced. We will not be replaced. I mean, in Illinois, though, hey, man, it just seems as though, Charles, there is this move to push us out.
Well, the effect of it certainly has been that. To affect us, to push us out. And we are, ironically, running to these red states. I just, over the weekend, a friend of mine announced that she was moving to Georgia. Talented young lady.
Georgia?
Going to Georgia. We got people moving to Texas. You know, a lot of folks down in Houston right now. And the flood came from Chicago. I mean, Texas might be the place where most black Chicagoans who do
Texas?
The state, they go to Texas.
Man, they did. The home of where they did Sandra Bland, with them hanging black people.
Where they drugged the brother on the pickup truck. They actually would go there.
In Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, they would go to a place like that instead of hang out in Illinois, where they perceive it to be worse than Texas. I mean, it's incredible. And they're going to Georgia, going to Tennessee, anywhere but here. I mean, they made this place intolerable. Isn't that for a lot of people? See, but I think the movement right now, a bigger movement is happening from the city into the surrounding suburbs.
Well,
That's
I think
the first step.
The first step, and then the next step is up and out.
The state.
I mean, I think what they try to do, Charles, is they try to choke us out of the remaining resources, push us out, welcome in a class of people who may not necessarily have the same. We're not starting at the same levels, so they don't have to earn as. Charles, I just
and even more critically, technically, aren't allowed to vote. So what you have this class of people living in the state who can only serve. They can't participate. They can't help make decisions, and that's what they'll have in the short term. Now, in the long term, I don't know how it's going to play out, but right now, the undocumented people who come to Illinois, technically, they can't vote, and they swell up in certain wards. Like you take the 14th ward, you take the Ed Burke's ward, Ed Burke in a majority Latino ward. Well, he might be that way for a long time because a lot of his constituents can't vote him out of office. Deborah Mell up in 33.
That's where Jaime Andrade came from.
That's right.
When he was claiming that racism.
Right, and then there's lots of wards like that, or several in the city, that are majority Latino wards that still have white aldermen, and a big reason for that is a lot of the people in those wards, they say they don't vote. Well, the reality is they can't vote because they're undocumented.
And so what we find ourselves in, and then even as we have this undocumented population, Charles, what winds up happening is they are welcomed, their kids flood the school system, right? Then we have an overcrowded school system, but it's an overcrowded school system in certain neighborhoods. Right? Which means that the investment goes there. They tout the stories of all the growth, but the growth is not in the areas where our children are. The growth is in the areas where they're welcome. Charles, if you don't speak English, right, the opportunity to have 100% growth is a lot easier than if you already started here, right? And so we get all these trickery numbers. And
the numbers. Don't believe those numbers. Yeah, those numbers, they're all... They've been doing that for 20 years, 25 years.
I think they've been doing it longer than that. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. Social media question of the day: should Illinois be a sanctuary state? Now, Charles, when we come back, I got an issue that is close to my heart. I don't know if you saw the cartoon yesterday that was re-released, a different version. It included the character of who I would assume would be a Chicago alderman and the TIF. We are going to talk when we come back to the parents from National Teachers Academy. I've been talking about this. And the theft of the gifted black education. We'll be back after news, traffic, and weather. We'll be back.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Harvey just won't quit.
All right, y'all. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Let's save our schools, save our kids and students. Right, we got the parents from National Teachers Academy. Charles, you got to clean some. You got to move some of that stuff because we got a couple people coming in.
I got to clean up around here.
Yeah, you got to clean. We got company coming.
Company coming.
Got to show the sisters some love and respect.
They're coming in right now. Okay, I'll let the man take care of some of this stuff.
Come on, man. The man, get in here. Get the cleaning.
Scott McLean reports from flooded suburbs in the city.
There may be tens of thousands of people
Man, Houston,
still
man,
stranded in their flooded out homes across Houston.
Man, that's crazy.
Every single National Guardsman or woman across Texas, that's about 12,000 of them, has been activated to help try to
All right,
get
y'all. I'm
people
about to.
out.
Have you all seen the cartoon? Can you take a moment and share the cartoon? Take a moment, share the cartoon. I'm about to put it on my page. Take a moment. Share. Good morning, everybody. Take a moment, share. If you're out there, give me some love. Take a moment, share the broadcast. We are trying to save education for the young. Good. Hello, Chuck. Hey, welcome back. Can you get them all nice and situated?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Headphones, all that good stuff.
Good morning. How you doing again? Mess out of your way.
How are you all doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I just lost my screen. Not that I really need right now.
I think some of these are turned down, man.
Yeah.
I noticed them up there.
What just happened to me? Oh, there you go. All right. So I heard you guys had an action-packed day yesterday.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
The plan to disenfranchise our children is not acceptable. So I'm just letting y'all know I'm like a dog with a bone on this one.
We appreciate it.
We are not going to just sit by and I think I tell the story that my kids went to Skinner.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And we at the time went through every hoop, jumped through every hoop. Milan tested in, and we were thankful. At the time, I lived in Beverly. We paid a transportation service almost, I want to say almost $1,000 a month to transport her back and forth to school just because we wanted her to go to a good public school, right? And you saw parents coming from all around the city to go to Skinner. It used to be a time when you would pull up to Skinner and it was only 2 and 3 digit license, 1, 2, and 3 digit license plates. But I think it was like the flagship gifted school on this, and it was gifted classical and everything. And I think about how much work we had to put in just to find a quality school for our kids. And so when you find a place and how much we were willing to go to make sure our kid goes to that school. And so I think about like Skinner, that would never happen to Skinner. What's happening to you all would never, ever in a million years happen to Skinner because of what it means. And so when you think about an NTA being that for the South Side and being a place where kids gather, the alderman will say, oh, well, it's not for, this, I'm only concerned about the constituents. Well, at what point do we concern ourselves with the opportunities for our kids damn anywhere?
Yes. Especially the way the system is set up. How the system is set up.
And then the way that the way that does that stop you?
Well, I can't see it. There's nothing on it anyway.
Right.
Is anything on yours yet?
No, nothing's on mine. He must wait. Dang.
Haven't put the
put the screen back up.
No phone. No. We have little communications issues.
Okay.
We're getting upgraded on our. Okay, I need everybody to take a half a scoot in. Okay. trying to make sure you all get all. I can get you all on the camera. All right. So you're on Facebook Live. If I were you, I would tell my parents to share, like your family and friends to share.
Yes.
Get the views up. And if you all want to cut it and you can download it and cut it. I don't have a problem with you if you want to just take your part of the interview of the day, because I do all 3 hours.
Yes.
But you can download the video and chop your hour and take what you want out of it.
Okay. That's
Okay.
great. All right. Thank you.
Did you all see? So you know what? I'm gonna start with the cartoon.
Yes.
That was brilliant, by the way.
Yes. That was really great.
Yeah. So I wonder, is it racist now? I just, hey, tell me if it's racist now. Now, do you both live in the ward?
No, I do not.
No,
Okay.
I live in the 4th ward, which is, with the way the wards are cut, right? They're so weird. I can walk to MTA, but I live in the 4th.
Got it.
Right.
Where's your 4th ward alderman on it? That's not my issue. So you gotta make everybody stand up for the black kids.
That's right.
Gotta be everybody's issue.
Right. What we suspect is there are a lot of threats being made.
Well, we're getting ready to get into it now. The music is on. Get your headphones. We're about to share that beat of love. I wanna rock with you all night, dance you in the day. I wanna rock. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. You know it is the 7 o'clock hour. And when we hit the top of the hour, got to show some love to the team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom? You know what? Keeping us nice and informed, as well as the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. That's right, Miss Sonia Escobar. Now, Charles, we were just talking about Illinois becoming a sanctuary state, and I'm not gonna get too far into that, but I want to know, where is the sanctuary for the young black child? Now, I'm stuck on this. Did you see Hidden Figures? I'm stuck on it, man. Do you remember the very first scene with the little black girl with her glasses and the ponytails, and she writing all the...
It basically was symbolic of the gifted, young gifted
black child
that we have, and that we have to do everything we can to make sure that they prosper, that they bloom, that they flower.
See how you do that?
I mean,
that's why you the straight guy, right?
No, it's true. I mean, that was a reminder that what we have, what our future is, and how we have to nurture what we have.
See,
and I think that's why you keep bringing that up.
I do, because
we got places like that in Chicago, not just National Teachers Academy, but a lot of schools and a lot of kids who are like that, and we have to do everything we can within our power to make sure that we nurture them and that they flower and that they bloom and that they are the flowers that they will be and can be, I should say.
And so when I feel like someone is trying to take that opportunity, I feel like that is the reason that we do what we do.
And it's so troubling when there are black people who try to stifle that kind of growth. When they get involved in that conspiracy to stop the nurturing, to stop the growth, to stop the flowers from coming into full bloom. When black people get into the garden and try to disrupt that process, that is what's so painful about this situation.
And that, my brother, is why we have these two ladies in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been paying attention to the WVON Morning Show, we have been talking about this cartoon right, over the last couple of weeks about the moving of TIF money being removed from downtown and taken from the 3rd Ward and given to rich white developers to make shiny Ferris wheels and make Navy Pier great again. Meanwhile, our young black kids are being pushed out. And so this is the story of the National Teachers Academy, and I would like to take the opportunity right now to let you two introduce yourselves. We'll start with you. You introduce yourselves, and tell us about what's going on at National Teachers Academy.
Thank you, Maze. My name is Elizabeth Greer, and I have a rising 2nd grader at NTA, and I'm also the chair of the local school council there. And essentially, we just revealed to the Board of Ed and to the media yesterday that the decision to close National Teachers Academy and convert it into a high school came from the mayor's office way back in 2015. And so this whole...
Wait, 2015? They just told us that they made the decision yesterday.
Yes.
They just sent out the letter on Friday. What do you mean 2015?
Yes. So we, through our due diligence and a lot of investigation, discovered that emails have been exchanged between our politicians and CPS discussing converting National Teachers Academy into a high school as far back as 2015 and confirming that it would be done. So this entire, we're thinking about it, we've got this proposal, we'd like to hear from the community and get your input, it's all been a sham. It's been a sham and it's been a lie. This has been a political maneuver that has been going on for at least the last 2 years, actually probably further back than
Sounds like it may have been part of the plan for transformation.
Exactly.
Remember that one?
I agree. My name is Anika Matthews-Feldman, and I have a 1st grader starting in a week at NTA. And what it appears to be was that, as we've said before on this show, that PDNA, the political group that's in South Loop, wanted an urban plan.
So PDNA, who does that stand for?
That is Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance. They are a neighborhood group, and basically their vision for South Loop and to urban plan it does not include what they consider poor black folks in the educational system or in the area, period.
Okay, so let's start here. Now tell us what exactly where we are in this planning. For all of our listeners, National Teachers Academy is located where?
It's 55 West Cermak and State.
And NTA is not considered a neighborhood school. Can you give me just a backdrop as to how NTA came to existence? Real quick.
Yeah, actually NTA is a neighborhood school. It was built in 2002 for the residents of the former Ickes projects, and it was to be their second home away from home. And with the Ickes being torn down, the school has gone through a period of transformation. And now NTA is currently a neighborhood school with boundaries from 18th Street to 25th, from Michigan to the Ryan. And it is also the home of Regional Gifted Center, which currently goes through the 4th grade. So it is both.
Okay, and so why is this school, why are they trying to no, wait a minute, back up. Is it a good school? Because they tell us that 1 in 4 black kids go to an underperforming school. This apparently is not one of those schools?
No, it is a level 1 high performing
school.
No,
what does level 1 mean for me?
For a city of Chicago public schools, that means you're at the top.
Okay.
Pretty much. Now there's only one stage above that, and that is 1+, okay? And that is, we're like points away from that. So we are considered, we're the school that other kids who have to go to a level 2 for more south would try and get into NTA to go to a higher performing school.
So why would this Prairie District Neighborhood Association want to stop something like this? I mean, this was part of the plan. This was an agreement that they made years ago.
They're upset that National Teachers Academy is 80% African American, 80% low income, and the Prairie District is districted into National Teachers Academy's borders. So they are supposed to go, their children are supposed to go to our school, but they don't want to go to our school because it's too black and it's too poor for them. So instead of just, I don't know, shrugging their shoulders and say, what are we going to do about this? They have actively then tried to change the school to their liking and to get our children out of that school because it's bringing their property values down.
But you don't live in that neighborhood, right?
Me personally, no. I live very close.
Do you live in that neighborhood?
No.
No. So the students are coming from all over the city. I think that's important to point out here.
Yes.
But it also, Mays, I want to make sure we all connect the dots here. Remember, the ICKEs went away because of the quote unquote plan for transformation.
Now, what would they call that for? What was the name? What was the acronym for that?
The change. Chicago hopes all Negroes go elsewhere. Remember that? Change was their motto.
Looks like they're living up to that right now.
Right. And I think it's very important to connect these dots because here they are building a brand new school for the ICKEs projects, which they tore down, promising to rebuild, which they never rebuilt. And the school's still there. Now they want to change the school. Is that part of what I'm seeing here?
Yes.
Connecting some dots.
Yes, and what's really important is that ICKEs is coming back. You do not. CHA has promised to rebuild on vacant land in front of NTA. ICKEs.
Promised.
It's going to be promised, and it is actually they're going to start building. And so this is mixed income coming back, which is also very important because I think that's why there's pressure to change NTA. So those kids will not be able to go to NTA as an option as a school.
Let me stop you right there. We've got to go to traffic and weather, but when we come back, I got to take a little deeper dive into this because I want to know who are the key players, who's on your side, and who's fighting against the saving of young gifted black children. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Talk of Chicago after traffic and weather.
More of the morning show with Mays Jackson.
They got this window of opportunity here in order to do this, when in fact the master plan was this school would be there and there would be people in the neighborhood. So you move the people out of the neighborhood, and now you're trying to change the school. Wait a minute, hold it. I thought there was a plan for transformation.
Right. And see, what's really important is when if they move that boundary to Cermak, which is what they're suggesting, the residents that move into the brand new ICKEs redevelopment will not be able to go
to even the new school,
to the new South.
And NTA will be gone as an elementary school. So those folks will be going all the way to a level 2 school or even lower, right? Except if you know someone and you can get in the new South Loop. It's basically eliminating black kids.
Speak up.
Out of the elementary
pipeline.
Out of the elementary school pipeline. You eliminate them from the bottom. Therefore, families will not be really in South Loop.
It's part of the plan for transformation, which is to transform.
Right, it's gentrification.
Right,
it's gentrification to the education system.
And like they didn't know, like I say, 2015, they knew the game. They knew the game when they
knew the game 20 years ago when they put it down.
Right.
Is the CHA is holding all this money,
but you
got all this huge amount of money that they're holding.
Because while we're having this conversation,
there's $600 million or something like that they're not using.
Right.
That's why they're holding it back until they can make the kinds of changes they want. Then they'll put the money back in, but it'll be too late for a lot of people.
Right.
And then they'll fight to make it a neighborhood school once they got the right population.
Yeah, but she says they're going to kick that line at Cermak.
See, they put the line at Cermak. And so it's going to keep the people in the new ICKEs development out of the brand new South Loop Elementary.
Yeah, but I wonder who's going to be in that new ICKEs development. If it's going to be black folks.
That's an excellent point because it's actually a point of contention right now between the developers and the city and the aldermen. The percentage of low-income residents keeps dropping.
Right, it's probably going to try and get it to the... They're gonna get it to 10 and then they're gonna buy it out.
I think that new ICKEs development being so close to Chinatown is,
right. Well,
it's not going to be Chinatown, greater Chinatown.
And the other part is, that they're trying to convert CHA now. We think of CHA as black, but the real plan is CHA is going to be Latino.
Well, it could also be Asian.
Right.
It could be any number of things other than black. Particularly in that area, I mean, it'd be once that school is there, and it's predominantly Asian or whatever, or has a huge Asian population, you'll see that so-called public housing or whatever they build, that low-income housing, suddenly not look black anymore.
See, I don't think it's going to be. They've made it quite clear to me that Chinatown is not getting a high school because Chinatown has so many kids that they would fill up. That's not what South Loop wants either. This the people. So they're gonna find a way to keep that from not happening. What this is going to be is a very selective private enrollment school for selective kids, where they're gonna handpick everyone for high school, for NTA and Turreton High School. And I wouldn't even be surprised, because they don't have enough kids to fill it up, will they switch it back to an elementary school, and it'll be too late because the low-income kids aren't going to be there. They don't know what they really want to do.
So yeah, they do. They know they want y'all Negroes gone.
But
that's true. They know that for sure.
That's the one thing they do know.
So now, talk to me about where is the local alderman in this?
Well,
what? Stop. We'll ask that question when we come back.
I'll let Anika answer that question.
So they got this plan. Janice Jackson was on our air last week talking about this plan to remove a grade level or whatever, one year. Can you imagine what that would look like for those last kids left there?
It's going to be awful. My daughter will be one of the last children left. She'll be a 4th grader if this supposed plan goes through. She'll be a 4th grader, and there'll be 9th graders in the building.
Yeah.
I mean, who thinks that that's a good idea?
But yeah.
And then my son will be a 1st grader, and he would be forced to go to the other school. And so now I'm taking 2 kids.
Like you're gonna do that.
Right.
Like you're gonna do that.
Right.
Right.
Which is what they're planning
Which is the
on.
plan.
Yeah. So you just basically concede and say, see you.
Right.
And
right. It's one less black family at the school.
Right. I mean, years ago, in about 2000, was it 9 or 10, there was the Trojan horse proposal, where they were trying, along with, I believe, Jacoby and even the principal of South Loop Elementary, were talking about coming in, sharing space with NTA, and basically Trojan horsing it, where they would add a grade and then slowly X out NTA people. Mm-hmm. And they wanted separate facilities for everything for the safety of their kids.
This is the 3rd time that NTA is under attack.
Right.
By the South Loop.
By the same people.
By the same people. To take over. The proposal, the 2009 takeover proposal, was the most racist Jim Crow proposal you have ever seen.
Wasn't there something about, they said they had to defend charges of segregation?
Oh, yes, in an email.
You got it?
Yeah. Do you want to do that on?
You got it?
I sure do. Do you want to have it?
Give it to me.
Because you know I'm a giver.
Give it to me.
Maze, I think you got to get in the game. I think she's.
Oh, we back.
It's on the last page. Okay. At the top.
The fuck?
Oh, that's it.
I'm sorry.
This is going on long.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Charles, I'm sitting here looking at an email dated Friday, June 2nd, 2017, 11:31 a.m. Janice, I see that the NTA parent groups are trying to make a segregation, quote-unquote, argument. I think we should have an answer for that should it rear its ugly head at the meeting. From my perspective, the boundary change increases diversity at the South Loop Elementary School. If you have time before this meeting, let's discuss.
Who
Pat
wrote the email?
Pat
Dowell?
What? No, that's what I want to ask.
Pat Dowell.
So, wait. So, they were making so is this a letter from Pat Dowell to Janice Jackson saying they had to cut off this claim of segregation? Now, do we feel that there was segregation?
Pat Dowell is the alderman.
Pat Dowell is
board, for those that don't know.
So wait, is the local alderman in support of gifted black children, or is she against it?
I would say she's against it. Going back as far as 2015, Tina Feldstein of PDNA, as we discussed before.
Who that is again?
That
PDNA?
is Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance, was having basically told a story in the paper that she was personally upset that no one had discussed with her CHA's redevelopment of Ickes in front of NTA, because they had a plan to expand NTA to a high school. And she said it, the only person had spoken with her was Alderman Pat Dow. And after that date is when you see emails from Pat Dow just in a extreme serious manner trying to get the mayor's office and talking with them about changing NTA to a high school.
Now tell me about Alderman Dow and how she's responded to you all in regards to this situation.
Pat Dow has clearly said when this all started that she had made absolutely no decisions, that she was just hearing and listening to all the information.
But wait, that's not what I saw in the email. The other email that said that back in 2015 said they were making it a...
True.
At the Easter egg hunt.
Yes, at the Easter egg hunt, and she was actually corresponding with the mayor's office. So basically all that was a false lie. So anyone in her ward who is not part of the South Loop elite, all the black people south of there should be angry, because the amount of energy and time she is spending on this issue alone in support of anything that the elite, wealthy South Loop and middle class, anything they want, she's ignoring the rest of her ward that is poor. But I'm sure around election time she's going to come into your school, because I rode past several schools in her ward and they certainly didn't look like South Loop Elementary.
Let me ask a question. This PDNA, does she have a relationship with PDNA? I saw a picture in Cuba or something, did I?
Yeah, she went to Cuba with the soccer team, of which Tina Feldstein is a board member. And she goes to pretty much every PDNA event. She is very close with them. She corresponds with them all the time over this issue. They brought this issue to her, and she has basically been supporting it and, pushing it forward with CPS.
I think we should,
What? Wait, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we got to have her side of the story.
Now, Charles, we reached out. Now, we did reach out to Alderman Dow. She told us that she was unavailable. She referred us to Janice Jackson at CPS. Go ahead.
Now, did I read last week that Howard Brookins had somehow gotten involved in this? In the alderman? The 21st Ward alderman?
I didn't read that,
I thought was further west and much farther south.
Because he's the chairman of education.
He's chairman of education committee, and he apparently also has signed on to this.
Alderman Brookins.
Alderman Brookins has signed on to transforming this high-performing elementary school into a high school, a neighborhood high school.
Yes.
go ahead.
I was going to say there are a few aldermen who have come out in support of this. The aldermen, particularly of the wards surrounding NTA.
Are they black?
No.
Well, Alderman Brookins, of course, is black.
Yes.
As you mentioned, he is the education committee chairman, and he signed on to this. I mean, he thinks this is what needs to happen. And Alderman Brookins.
Alderman Brookins, this your man Mays. Give me a call, man. You know the number to the hotline. Alderman, help me understand. Now, Alderman Brookins will tell us the straight dope from his perspective. You know what, Charles? Get that bat phone of yours out. See if you can text him. Get him on the line. Well, in the meantime, what we got to figure out is, how do we save our poor black children? Obviously, we cannot go to the alderman because she wants to help run. They got to come up with a plan to stop calling a spade what it is, a spade. Ladies, I guess my question is, what can we do to help? As a matter of fact, tell me what's going on right now. What are you all doing right now?
Well, right now we are, as we began yesterday, we are beginning a slow leak of information to the media, to the public, to show just how corrupt this whole system has been, how long ago this whole system has been put into place, how this is really being orchestrated by the mayor. And we've got piece of information after piece of information that will be coming out every day. We're just going to release a little bit more so that the city is aware of exactly how corrupt this entire process has been. The other thing that we are asking people to do, if people at home are just wondering, what can I do to help? We really encourage them to call their alderman, whoever their alderman is, because we need some of the aldermen to stand up and speak against this proposal. Not just because this is just NTA, but because this is wrong. This is black children being disenfranchised.
Well, let me just say this. You need to have more than just your alderman.
Yes.
You need to have all the elected officials that touch that area. So where is Maddie Hunter?
That's right.
Where is Sonia Harper? Where's Juliana Stratton, who is now... So right now you got a perfect opportunity to ask your state legislator who is running around the state talking about education and reform and doing right. Ask them those questions, and we need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to, we've got Elizabeth Greer and Anika Matthews. They're from they're parents from National Teachers Academy, and we're trying to save our young black kids' education. We'll be back after traffic and weather news.
What's that? Can we get him on one of those numbers? Mm-hmm. Which one? Give me the number.
I can't give it to you like that. Here.
Oh, that's right. Let's write it down.
I'll give it to you.
What I find really interesting about this is that all these conversations about the high school, there's not been a written conversation whatsoever saying, well, what about NTA that's level 1? Not one person has answered that question. Who
are your allies? Who are your elected allies?
Actually, Maddie Hunter has been our ally from the very beginning.
Is she showing it? Has she sent a letter? Is she there? Has she stood up in public?
Let me just tell you, Maze, that I have under good authority that a letter was constructed from Maddie Hayes and from Maddie Hunter and from Sonia Harper, and to speak out, and to some extent Teresa Ma, to speak out against the proposal, and there were threats made to them.
So, stop, don't have that conversation, just say it. You all keep talking about stuff because remember, you got everybody, and right now, can I tell you, they're all watching. So you should share good stuff right now. But let me just tell y'all, this anti-segregation email, now, I'm going to just say this. I'm looking at these emails, and this here, what they planning about the segregation or how they going to call off the segregation, that's just not cool. And you know my girl is on this list, and you know that's my homie, but that's a little suspect. So I'm at you're a little suspect on this. Now, I've been seeing some crazy pictures. Man, I wonder how much that trip to Cuba cost. Mm-hmm. And did we trade our kids' education for a trip to Cuba?
Yes, we did. And at DePaul Stadium.
Huh?
And at DePaul Stadium.
Oh! We traded the you know what? So we gotta also talk about the trading of our, you know how I keep talking about how they be selling our birthright off?
Yeah.
Right? All the time they sell the black, they sell us off cheap. That ain't a trip.
A trip to DePaul Stadium.
Right, a trip to DePaul Stadium.
Well, I just find, I go back to the point where and this is where you get into the civil rights violation of kids and their violation of their education. Because nowhere in here, in all these conversations and emails, did anyone ever say, by the way, NTA is level 1. How can we save that school and still give a high school? It was not even a consideration.
Right.
So the fact that it wasn't even consideration, the fact that you didn't even honestly think of other options. And I sat in a meeting with Janice Jackson, and I believe Miss Greer, Elizabeth Greer was there too, and I said, have you only ever looked at NTA? Did you look at anywhere else? Did you consider? And basically it was like, no. And I do believe there was another meeting with Janice Jackson, and she clearly didn't look anywhere else but to NTA for a possible high school. And that tells you something. That tells you that they were directed by the mayor to change NTA specifically. It wasn't finding a high school in the area. It was go change NTA.
The boss told us what to do, and now we're doing it.
Right. So that means you are not acting as an independent institution for the education and the fair and equitable education of our kids in Chicago, period.
Right.
So basically, we don't have a CPS that promotes education whatsoever. They did not look at anything. Matter of fact, they have shot down everything that we've ever presented to them, as if it's completely irrational.
Right.
Right? And they would clearly say to Phillips, oh, they won't go there.
Yeah.
They.
A huge insult to Phillips.
Right. However, the kids south of 22nd Street, they can go to a level 2 school when NTA closed, and that's good enough for them.
Right.
So that's CPS and our black kids and their relationship. So that's the problem I have. There's never been any even mention.
Right. No one has been brave enough in writing that we've seen to stand up and say, this is wrong.
Well,
This is wrong.
But even to say, and we do realize that NTA is level 1. They just sort of like act like that doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
You know. And
So how do you respond to the alderman saying that she's not, she has to respond to the needs of the people in her ward, and you guys don't live in her ward?
Go talk to the people in her ward. Talk to other people besides the people in the Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance and what they want.
Well, what I find really interesting for that has been the complete argument with, I think even Janice Jackson, are you in that ward? Are you in that ward? However, the school, South Loop Elementary, that they are building a new school for and currently exists, have kids outside their boundary, right? So are you questioning them when they say they wanted a new school? Did you question them and say, are you in that ward?
Right. Not to mention the fact that the way that the wards are districted, South Loop Elementary has kids from 3rd and 4th Ward. So if Dow is really only concerned about kids in her ward, then she should only be concerned about half the kids at South Loop Elementary.
But that argument is only used when it comes to NTA, which is a total, it is racist and classist to all of a sudden use another argument that you're not willing to use for another school only for us. All of a sudden now it comes to, you're not important because you don't live in the ward.
And CPS has set up the rules so that children from outside of neighborhood boundaries can legally apply and get into the school. So don't try to play that game with us when we are actually playing by the rules that the system is set up. This is beyond ward boundaries. This is city wide.
Yeah, if you couldn't, if it was a ward situation, you wouldn't be going to school anyway. You would, if they wouldn't allow you to attend.
With that. I'm about to go to Stolen Birthright. Plus 2 makes 4, I'm gonna teach you. I'm about loving. Do repeat after me. You say ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Oh baby, like do, re, mi, ABC, 1, 2, 3. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, ABC 123. That's right, we are talking to Elizabeth Greer and Anika Matthews about them trying to put our poor babies, our gifted black children on the street. Charles, I just can't understand how anybody black could conspire against the success and the education of black kids, especially when they tell you that 1 in 4 black kids go to an underperforming school in the city of Chicago. You mean to tell me that they about to try and steal another one of our birthrights? Charles, I talk about this all the time. Our people sell and trade our birthrights away for peanuts.
Well, when Moss tells them to do that, that's what they do.
Well, check it out.
They do what they're told. They don't do what their constituents want them to do.
Charles, our birthright has been stolen. So, I used to talk about when I lobbied in Springfield, and remember I told you how UNO got $120 million out of $75 meals to all the legislators, and they got $120 million to build 5 new schools. Well, apparently our birthright in this case was stolen for a trip to Cuba and the $55 million racist hotel that we talked about in the cartoon. Break it down for me, ladies.
So we have uncovered through our investigation that NTA was basically given away to the Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance in exchange for the DePaul Stadium. The mayor wanted this DePaul Stadium to happen, right? And there were people within the Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance who were vehemently opposed to it, like just were constantly saying, no, this is not going to happen, no, this is not going to happen, no, this is not going to happen. All of a sudden, then that voice got real quiet. And then one day, the mayor shows up at an Easter egg hunt and takes pictures with Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance Tina Feldstein, and everyone seems happy. And 10 days later, an email comes out from Alderman Dow saying that, yes, she talked to the mayor, and the mayor and Tina Feldstein have confirmed that NTA will become a high school.
When was this?
2015.
Yeah, and you know
they just sent the letter out on Friday though. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are trying to tell me
people should also
bamboozle.
understand that the DePaul Arena is built a stone's throw from a neighborhood, and that's where a lot of these people live, and
yes.
they didn't want the DePaul Arena there.
That's right.
So, but the mayor and the powers that be wanted the DePaul Arena there, and she's saying this was a trade-off.
It's a trade-off.
Well, we'll
right.
give you the high school, we'll give you the school, if you let us build the arena.
You mean to tell me that they traded the education of poor black children? You gotta tell me that everybody is standing up behind you. I know that every elected official in that area is with you. I know that the state reps, so let me guess. Who? Let me guess. Sonia Harper, Juliana Stratton, Teresa Ma, let me guess, Maddie Hunter. All of those people are standing with you against Alderman Dow. I'm sure they've issued some sort of statement, something standing with the poor black children. Tell me they have.
Not publicly, no.
Nope, not publicly.
We have had conversations with them in private that they do stand with us. However,
they stand way back.
They stand way back.
We suspect that they have been threatened into silence.
That's a big allegation.
I just said we suspect that there is something that is preventing them from standing up publicly, making a public statement, sending out a letter. It's saying that this is wrong.
Well, I mean, why do you even think that they would be supportive of you in the first place?
Well, because we've had private conversations with them, and they have told us in private that this is not right, that they don't think that this is right.
But why won't they stand up with you now? I mean,
You'd have to
call them.
You have to ask them.
What?
You have to ask them.
Somebody get my cell phone.
I've been on my cell phone all morning calling people, man.
Nobody want to talk about this?
Nobody want to talk back, man.
Well, I mean,
I called all.
We think all representatives need to stand up, and all state senators.
Well, you know what I think? You know what I find ironic? What I find ironic, Charles, is that yesterday we watched the historic vote be shot down by these legislators who were like, oh, we have to protect public education. Except for when it's black kids.
Oh, I agree. I think that's except when it's black kids.
Wait. So where is our legislator? Where are all those people that make those impassioned? You mean, Mr. Mayor, I need a future for all the black kids. Everyone should grow up in a future. He is not standing by your side? Who is tell me, name the black elected officials, the white elected officials that are standing up for the education of young black children. Name them. Give me the list right now.
I cannot.
We can't. You can't come up with one.
No.
They're gonna jump on us, Maze, and say that you guys are just being overly hard on black elected officials, man.
Who's being overly hard on black kids? Look, let me just say this. We got kids walk. Okay, so here's the narrative, guys. Sagging black teenager with. Oh wait, let's talk about the racism. Let me go backwards to the racism. The racist cartoon that. Did y'all see the cartoon?
Yeah.
Yes.
The original cartoon?
Yes.
Did you find that original cartoon racist?
No, not really.
No, not really.
Because then yesterday someone released a cartoon and they took out the fat white man and they put a tall lady with a crooked
You wrong, man. See, man, this is where you got to stop it, man. You cold-blooded, man. When you gonna do that?
I was saying the crooked letters in the back.
Oh, okay.
I would never would I denigrate anyone like that. I mean, I'm not an artist. I can't draw crooked wigs. What are you talking about? So, but then I saw a new version of the cartoon, and it replaced the fat, jolly white man with a very lanky woman, black woman, who had a tiff belt buckle and pretty cool glasses, right? Is it racist now? Do you think, or was it true? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? What is?
Because I saw the cartoon and it's brilliant.
I thought it was brilliant. That was great.
In one image, it just encompasses everything that this is about, right? That our children, our poor, black children, are sitting there begging to be allowed to exist, and she's saying, "No, I don't have anything for you." And meanwhile, we've got 55.
And it was perfectly legal. Everything was perfectly legal in that situation.
And if you look at the situation, especially in South Loop, so there's an article about like 2007 or 2009 where John Jacoby of Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance is given an exclusive within an article, and the article is about property values, okay, in South Loop. And this reporter says, and I'll give it to you, Maze, later. He says, now South Loop Elementary was helped by a 2005 boundary change, right? A 2005 boundary change that made 91% of the low-income black families in South Loop Elementary go to NTA. It was reduced from 91% down to 30-something in one fell swoop of a boundary change from CPS. You can't tell me that was not by design. So they removed them from basically the north part of South Loop Elementary in 2005, and they're just keep pushing it out.
Right? Because you see, Charles, but that goes to that story I tell you about how the South Side. Remember how the South Side used to start at like 18? Mm-hmm. Now the South Side is starting at 35th, and I think if your girl have her way, the South Side is gonna start at 55th.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I don't think the cartoon was racist.
No.
No matter how crooked it was. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and that is Charles Thomas over there telling them terrible jokes.
No, you know what they say on this program, don't you?
They say
Maze said.
You know they're gonna be saying it today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 4:57 on the Talk of Chicago. We'll be back.
More of the morning show.
I don't talk about no systems weird. When you do that, that's part of the rule. That's part of the rule, the standing rule.
And you gotta understand, when we had a meeting with Janice Jackson, I asked her, I said, did you know there is a boundary change already? So in the same 2-mile area, you guys have been pushing the same black folks around a circle as you want to fit the needs of the wealthy. And she had no idea at that time about the boundary change.
She had no idea.
So that article encompasses what they were trying to do. And John Jacoby of Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance said in that article, well, they were doing better before they left the black kids. And if that is not the most Jim Crow attitude about the education of black kids, we were helping them, but they still had to go.
Y'all messing up the pipeline.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that boundary change did not come from Prairie District Neighborhood Alliance. That came from CPS. Mm-hmm. So CPS has stopped looking after kids, and basically they have become urban planners, specifically in South Loop. And they've been urban planners for a very long time.
And the worst thing about it is that now Jackson is using this righting a wrong argument to move the boundary back to Cermak, because that's what originally was. So in 2005, South Loop Elementary's boundary was Cermak, and they moved it to 18th.
For NTA.
And then now she's saying, well, we're going to right a wrong because we know we displaced all of those students back in 2005.
Right.
So now we're going to fix it by moving the boundaries
Right.
in and letting them go back into the school. Where our counter argument.
Well, and mind you, she's going to right the wrong she just found out about on June 15th, where this conversation is May 7th.
Yeah.
So she's righting a wrong that she just found out about, and
What's up, man?
May 7th, she's
What
talking about
happened?
You all right, man?
He's almost on the floor now.
I know, man. Thumbs up.
Uh-oh.
Thumbs up. Thumbs
You
up.
got a text.
Thumbs up. Something went down.
I didn't think nobody got what I was talking about.
What are you talking? Everybody got what you was talking about. Everybody got that, man. Come on, man. You know, everybody got that. Everybody got that. Everybody, man, for the last, like, how many years it's been like this, they go, what's up? Like, I'm trying to get it straight, you know?
You have to tilt your camera like you know some days I be wanting to do like this. I be wanting to walk up and be like,
You're wrong, man. See, you can't. I mean, man, I tell you. Boy.
hey man, it's entertainment. This is a morning show. Don't nobody tell Steve Harvey he can't tell no damn jokes. Jesus, lighten up.
It's gonna just get us more and more trouble. I ain't do it. I ain't did nothing to do with it. May said, no, man, you don't like it? Yeah. May said, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, boy, I tell you.
All right, so let me tell you what you all need to be leery of, right?
Yeah.
So, if I were you gotta look at pressure points. So you know they got a state rep race coming up,
Yep.
right? Because remember, Juliana Stratton stepped down. Maybe somebody,
She did?
or she didn't step down, but she's vacating the
She's
spot.
right to move for it. Yeah.
Now, Pat Dow is putting a man in the race. Brendan Riley is putting a man in the race. They're concerned that Ken Duncan is going to get in the race, so they're going to flood it with men, and then they're going to run a black woman to dilute the race. So, if I were you all, I would be putting anybody that looks to get any support, you need to put their back against the wall on NTA. Make NTA a litmus test in the 3rd ward for that state rep race.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. That's great.
Sigh. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. Face to be. So I learned to depend on me. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. So you gotta stop playing these songs. I'ma sing the whole break instead of doing what we need. Our kids though, man.
I tell you, man, some mornings I just cherish my role as straight man. I just cherish it.
You right, you are the straight man?
Yeah.
That's what we was trying to get. We trying to help everybody get straight. That's all I want to get. All I want you to do is just put a little to the left. Get it, line it up, symmetry. Like when you look in the mirror, symmetry. It's got to be right between, the middle part should, that part that they put down in the middle.
Bisection or whatever.
Right in the middle, it's got to line up with your nose.
The art school teacher.
But they don't want to teach symmetry now. They don't. I was just thinking, Charles, I got a thought as to why they may not want to protect NTA. You know how we always talk about the money, that bag?
Yeah.
I think NTA might be messing up some people's money. You're looking, where is he going with this?
Yeah.
Remember how we talked about the prison pipeline and CPS being the #1 supplier for the Illinois Department of Corrections?
Yeah.
Well, this messes up that narrative, man.
Yeah, but it's just one little corner here.
If you take the
all
best,
those other underperforming schools, that they can rely on.
But you got to start. Yeah, but you got the one where the good. See, if you know where the gifted kids are going, you got to go kill the brain trust. Kill the you know what I'm saying? You kill the head, the rest of follow.
They are proving at NTA that you can do it.
If you have the tools, you can do it.
You can do it. And they don't want that to happen. Oh, man.
And this is a ward that 6 other black schools have closed already, which, in my opinion, the corruption that we are now seeing and exposing and the collusion between these political officials, if I was a person who had gone to those schools, I'd be investigating whether or not it was really necessary to close my school, or was that part of the South Loop urban plan goal.
I'm still tripping on this email that says, I see NTA parent groups are trying to make a segregation argument. I think we have to have an answer before it rears its ugly head. Pat.
Well, it has reared its ugly head.
It's racial.
Racial.
Right. This is all I'm going to ask the WVON listening audience, right? I'm sitting here with 2 concerned parents. My inbox is filled, my Facebook page, with parents who care about their children. You know, I always see the story of the black mom hollering at that kid, walking down the street. You hear the story, you think of the dreadlock kid playing a bucket or standing out. You know, Charles, those kids standing outside in the middle of the street when you pull up and they do the dance and they got the... That's not this. And I think that is the narrative that is always easily sold. You never see you never see it. You never see the news. You never see anybody reporting parents who are every day fighting to provide the best opportunities for their kids.
Right. You never see it. And I think that's one of the real tragedies here, because these parents, these women who are sitting alongside me, when they get disillusioned or they get run out of the school district, that just exacerbates the problem of out-migration from the city, because these are the people that are going to stay here and make the city work. And when the mayor talks about the future, he's got to make sure that he has these parents here. These are the parents they always talk about.
He cry on the news when somebody gets shot and then take your school away and send your kids out the street.
And that's a very good point. He doesn't want anyone to connect the fact that when you remove upward mobility of kids through the educational system, and then also there's no jobs, but then you also want to talk about, well, they have nothing else to do but shoot each other up and all of that. Well, you took away their options for education. You've closed over 50 schools.
And now you're going to the underperforming. But now you got one that's performing and you want to close that one.
Right.
Look.
And we accepted that they were underperforming, right? Because if we didn't come out and say that we're high level, you think any of them ever mentioned that? They have not mentioned that.
So let me tell y'all. We talk about always on this show the underperformers, the people that aren't doing good, but here we have people that are fighting. I'm going to tell you guys something that I learned when UNO was trying to get their schools. Let me tell you what I learned. Each child represents 2 parents. You should look at where those parents sit, how they vote, and everybody that works against you now, you need to start organizing them now. Now, there's a What's in it for the Black People movement that's happening right now. We'd like to enlist NTA in that as well, because I think we can all be moving forward to protect black kids. It's all of our responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in to the Talk of Chicago. We've been talking to Elizabeth Greer and Anika Matthews, both parents at National Teachers Academy. Hey man, we in this fight with you, so keep us up to date. And please share. I'm going to share y'all these emails and cartoons. Boy, some of this stuff I'm reading, I think, have y'all sent a package over to the... Y'all need to send a package to the people. We'll talk about that off air. Ladies and gentlemen, go real quick.
Real quick. There is one email that I actually forgot to share with you.
What is it?
It is one from when we talk about what is the policy of City of Chicago. Michael Negron, he is the Chief Policy Officer with City of Chicago. Before we started our meetings, before the announcement, before everything, May 7th, he indicated that 80% of the kids in South Loop go somewhere else for high school. And he was like, so what would a new high school, how would that change anything? Like, how would you make people go to that high school when 80% are going out? Meaning people are going to select enrollment. In essence, why do you need NTA to be a high school?
because they want the black people gone. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690. We gonna stay in this NTA fight. They said they got a vote in February. I think they need to find out how we feel about gifted black children. Until then, ladies, keep us up to date. It's 7:59 on Talk of Chicago. We'll be back. When we come back, we'll talk Hurricane Harvey in Houston. Man, I sounded like Jesse Jackson when I said that. We'll be back after these messages.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Guys, I had to throw him under the bus.
Chicago.
Harvey's downgrade from hurricane status isn't bringing much comfort to people in Texas and Louisiana. Meteorologist Derek Van Dam says Harvey will make a second landfall.
Late Tuesday night and into early Wednesday morning, just east of Houston, there'll be a tropical storm. Talk about this. It shows right there that it was already a done deal.
Well, that's the thing. You know that when they come to you to talk about it, they already made the decision.
Right.
Okay, so step out.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Charles, you got the camera rolling.
We'll see you. Okay.
You're so calming. I know. You're so real pleasure.
Right, and I'm so like.
I feel like just carry you around.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, wow. Now, yeah, we got, yep. Yeah, they're going to stay in the fight. You know, the school district, the CPS cannot formally make the decision to make the transition from at NTA until February. It comes up at their meeting in February that they actually have to make the decision. What they have now is a recommendation from staff, which includes the Reverend Dr. Claypool and hold on, I gotta do something right now.
Sorry, guys. I interrupted her. I'm sorry. Good morning, by the way.
There you go.
Ooh, okay.
They have to make this decision in February, so there's a lot of time for this debate to happen, particularly as all these different candidates sign up to run for re-election or election through the fall. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but this is not something that just includes that ward or that legislative district. This includes the entire city. I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't hold your elected official in some other part of the city accountable for what's getting ready to go down at Cermak and State. You can ask them, like, hey, what do you think about that situation that's going on over there? Because again, a lot of the parents whose kids attend that school just don't live in the 3rd Ward or in that particular attendance area. They come from all over the city. So it's likely that people from your part of the city have children who attend National Teachers Academy. So you have a stake in it. But larger than that, you have a stake in what's happening to black people in the city, period. And you should get involved and get your own state rep involved. Ask him or her, well, what about that situation over there? They might tell you, oh, that's in that district and that's in that part of the city. Well, you could tell them, well, there's people from this part of the city that attend school there. So there's a lot of different things that a lot of ways you can get involved in that situation at Cermak and State, even though it seemingly is not your business, because in this city, this ward politics thing, they use that ward politics thing to divide us as much as they use the whole South Side, West Side thing to divide us. They use the city suburban thing to divide us, when in fact, this is a cause that everybody should be involved in, because these kids, although they might grow up in a school, be educated in a school in the 3rd Ward, in the long term, they represent all of Chicago. That means all of us. So we all have to pitch in to try to protect them. And that's something that we cannot allow these ward politicians to divide us on.
So, Charles, we're going to go to the criminal justice, the state, all that stuff that happened yesterday, the bills and stuff. You got that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, because the 8 o'clock doors just closed to get on the plane. He was going to call us.
To get on the what?
The 8 o'clock guy I had calling, the doors closed. He's on the plane, so he's got to go. So tired?
Yeah, I don't know if you all can tell so far, but
I'm mad at this segregation email too, y'all.
Well, you know, but I think it's true that about everything we know about them, man. They communicate with each other. We can only tell you what we know, and it's good that they give us those emails that we can see that. But man, they have conversations that go on, and then they have a public presentation that they make.
And then they put the people in the room.
Right. Man, I just had I had an urge, man.
What kind of urge?
It's the craziest thing. I had an urge for a bottle of beer. And I don't drink. A Corona right now with a lime thing in it, like they have it at football.
Nobody no kumquats in our beer, man.
Huh?
Yeah, man, that's that.
But I don't know. I had that at a restaurant one time a while, and for some reason I just had this thing hit me that, man,
that'd be great right
beer
now.
would be good right now. Man.
A lunchtime beer, man. You know what? I've readjusted my personal clock.
Me too.
So I've said that now my day is officially begins at 4 o'clock, right? So I think, how do I get 16 hours in from till 8 o'clock? And then I should feel like that 8 is, so like I've literally taken I'm in the process of taking my life and like doing like this.
Yeah, me too.
And now it's starting to, I'm feeling a lot better about, like, cause I feel like I was trying to start my day again at 9 o'clock, like I haven't been doing. Right.
I eat lunch at 9 o'clock, man.
I ate it yesterday early, and I was like, oh, I'm not bad. Hey! 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 Let your.
Yeah, man. Yeah, David Moore tried to call in, man, to say he was against it.
Daniel.
That's 8:30.
I know.
We haven't acknowledged on the air yet that we have a phone problem, right?
What?
No.
What?
We haven't acknowledged on the air we have a phone problem. And we are not.
I'll say something.
Yeah, I want to mention that David Moore is on record against this. I want to mention that. I think it's important.
Huh?
I want to mention that David Moore has come out against this NTA thing.
Okay.
He's 17, right?
He can call.
But he can't call.
Yes, he can. He can call the
He
hotline.
doesn't know that, man. He doesn't know.
Okay.
That. He said, I'm trying to call in, but it's saying...
So tell Todd to call him or tell him to get on the hotline.
Well, he doesn't know his number.
I just gave you the hotline number, brother.
I gave him the hotline, but I mean... He doesn't.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Plus, you know, at 8 o'clock when we hit the numbers right there on that pad. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. Plus, You know we cannot do the WVON Morning Show without the Morning Show team. That's right, we have Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as as well as Sonia Escobar, who is our musical director. You know what, man? When I got a vibe and you throw me off in the beginning, I get a little discombobulated. So let me catch it all back. 8 o'clock, the yoga song. Now, Charles, I don't know if you saw down in Springfield or this week, the governor been signing a lot of bills. Did you? I saw that he did a string of criminal justice reform bills. Did you see that? Or it seemed like it all got lost in the shuffle.
Well, it did, but this is one of the things that he vowed to do when he was elected, was to transform the criminal justice system, and he's done a lot in that regard. And he's actually been praised by some of the Democrats. Kwame Raoul actually praised the governor for some of his criminal justice reform.
How champion-like is that of him?
Right, that is very champion-like of Senator Raoul to credit the governor for anything. Now, the governor, I don't know how much though it's going to help him in his re-election effort. At this point, I think it's going to be something he's going to have to play up, because after all, Bruce Rauner hasn't accomplished very much because of the gridlock in Springfield during his first, 2.5, most of 3 years in office now.
Right.
So he's got this school thing where he was able to get these tax scholarships. That's the only thing from a truly conservative agenda that I think he's accomplished. His other so-called turnaround agenda, it got stalled, although he didn't sign off on the tax increase, he was overridden on the tax increase in the budget. So he's looking for stuff that he needs to run for re-election. He's going to have something for his commercials other than saying the Democrats are bad people and Mike Madigan is a horrible person. He's going to need something else, and I think he's going to use some of this criminal justice stuff.
Now, let me ask a question. Why do you think we haven't heard anything about it? You know what? I was told, let me just tell you something. I was told that most of these bills were sitting on the governor's desk and were up to last Friday, could have expired on Monday had he not hurried and signed these. Why do you think no legislators or anybody was pressing the governor? You know, we heard people say, "Governor, sign my sanctuary city bill. Governor, sign my Save the Wells bill. Governor, sign my Tax the Pops bill." But we did not hear anybody talk about these reforms, criminal justice reforms, that I think in an ordinary year people would have been hanging their career on.
And I think that, but it's not only to their discredit that they did not demand that he sign them. I think his office didn't do a very good job in terms of publicizing the fact that despite his conservative beginnings or claims, he has really worked for criminal justice reform. He hasn't told anybody that. He hasn't promoted it on his own. And I think that goes to his political
Charles, I think you pointed it out the other day when you were on your last appearance in Chicago Tonight. Remember when you had your last appearance on Chicago Tonight? Yeah. Remember when they were talking about all the people that got fired in the communication staff, right, and there were no black people there?
Exactly.
I wonder, did they hire any black people in communications yet? Because this would have been a smart time for those black people in communications to be sending out press releases, etc. But Charles gets me to talking. Yesterday, Charles, we had an interesting afternoon up in the Skyline Club where we were talking to Dan Proft. Mm-hmm. And when we were having that conversation, Charles, he asked us to handicap the governor's race as we see it.
Yeah.
You know what, Charles? I think that every week we should just handicap the governor's race. We should just.
Great idea.
I think we should.
It changes week to week.
I think it should change. One of the things that crossed my mind is, I think we need to call Tyrone. Cause I still.
You mean get Tyrone on the phone?
Get Tyrone on. You better call Tyrone. Cause there's another black lieutenant governor candidate that refuses to come in and see us.
Tyrone refuses to come in to see us?
But he can't use my phone.
He refused. I mean, Amaya Pawar's running mate, Tyrone Coleman, is it Coleman? What's his
Man, he got both black names. Tyrone Coleman.
Tyrone.
If his last name is Coleman, he got
let
two
me
black
check that.
names.
Let me check that.
So look, Amaya Pawar. So Amaya Pawar. Since the last time we really talked about the governor's race, named Tyrone his running mate. So I think the new fashionable thing to do is to get you a black running mate. Dan Biss got endorsed by Sheila Simon. Now let me just say this. I think Sheila Simon might be one of the nicest people in government I've ever met. But what does her endorsement get you?
Well, I mean, she's pretty popular down around, what is it? Is it Spain?
No.
Carbondale? Carbondale. She's pretty popular down there.
How popular? Charles, she was not she didn't win the state senate race?
Yeah, but she's popular down there. She was like a alderman or something. I don't know. What was it?
No.
What was it? Help me,
maybe
man.
she was an alderman, but I mean, when she ran
she
for anything bigger,
she didn't do anything statewide, but maybe she's pretty popular down where she come from. After all, she is Paul Simon's daughter. I mean,
Charles, you know how we talk about these songs that you like that nobody remembers.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paul Simon is rapidly approaching that space too. Like, you know, I mean, I got a picture with him in a bow tie, but does anybody really remember Paul Simon like that? I don't know, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So, governor's race, if you were handicapping the governor's race right now on the Democratic side, who would you say is the Democratic nominee will be?
Who, me? Mm-hmm. I think it's going to come down to three candidates.
Well,
I got three.
You got three?
I got three. I think it's J.B. Pritzker, who's spending all the money. I think Chris Kennedy, who has the name recognition, and Daniel Biss, who has the ideas. That's how I would handicap it right now in terms of...
What about Amaya? He got Tyrone.
Amaya's got ideas, but he has no money, and he's got Tyrone. I mean...
And he got Indigenous Peoples Day. And he said he make weed legal, bro. That always puts you in contention.
But the other thing that Amaya has voted for tax increase after tax increase after tax increase in Chicago. And I think they'll hang him on that.
I think Amaya's thinking about running for county board president.
How about mayor?
Ooh, about mayor.
Yeah, I tell you why. Because Amaya, when he ran for the council the first time, said he'd only be there 2 terms. Now, either he's a liar or he's going to have to run for mayor.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. We are handicapping the governor's race, talking about everything that has gone on in Springfield. And when we come back, we'll continue that conversation. Plus, you know, yesterday, Charles, in the Lions Den, people were a little suspect about where to donate their money on the Houston relief. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk to an expert about what you should take into consideration if you want to help down in Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:17. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago.
What's up, y'all? Take a moment, share the broadcast. Are you kidding me? How about YouTube is beating Facebook?
Today?
Yes, that's 2 days.
Last 2 days? Really?
Take a moment, share.
What's up with that?
Huh?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a YouTube audience that is growing outside of the people that were introduced to us on Facebook. Because we're now starting to show up in people's, like when YouTube sends out their morning email, the morning show to a significant base is in it. So you're getting people that were not. Let me see you do the yoga. Because when you shared the broadcast on Facebook. Damn, Lay, you all right, man? Praying for your brother? I got family out there. Thanks, Keith Rader from Canada. The Rush Boss, William Martin. Yeah, he is. What up, Audrey? All right, let me say what's up to the people. Right. James said YouTube is anonymous, Facebook is not. What up, James? What up, Lay? Ebony Tillman. What up, Reese Mo? Tamiko. See y'all tonight. Stephanie Falasha Masego. What up, Jacob Israel? YouTube don't pay good though. They have the worst. What up, Tammy Matthews? What up, Antoine? What up, Penelope? What up, Tammy Matthews? What up, Patah? What up, Jimalita? Sheldon, what up in Bolingbrook? What up, Edward Muhammad? What up, Anthony Hancock? What up, Joe Wordlaw? Sonia Escobar. What up, Diane Scott? What up, Jahan? What up, Anthony Muhammad? What up, John Rembert? What up, Diane Scott, Theo Wilson, Maria Munoz? What up, DS? What up, Ingos? What up, Nate? You don't got a ward rep. You got a state rep and a ward alderman, broskies. We got to get that right. What up, Reese Mo? That's how they also get you. What up, Kang Mufasa Red? Ourselves sometimes. See, I've been having this on my mind for a long time. I just want it to be you and me like it used to be, baby. But you don't know how to act. A matter of fact, you better. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas. And Charles, we've been trying to call Tyrone.
I don't know why Tyrone won't call us back. We got a phone.
You got to. Tyrone! Call into the WVON Morning Show. Amaya Pawar, look to all the snoopers on Facebook, social media, people that's listening on iHeart. Tell Tyrone call the WVON Morning Show. Now you don't want, you know how your mama used to be like, come on, go bring me that belt.
Yeah.
You don't want me to go get it.
You don't want me to go get that belt.
You don't want us to go get that belt. You don't want the Lions to come get you. Now, Charles, did I mention to you that on September 17th at the Dan Ryan Woods, we are having the first What's in It for the Black People cookout?
I heard something about that. And I heard something about...
Charles, I heard you got to get on the grill with your cooking sauce.
About my cooking sauce. I had to do something.
And you know what, Charles?
The 17th?
September 17th, we are going to be in Dan Ryan Woods with the What's in It for the Black People cookout. Now, Charles, I'm excited, man, actually. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to have a What's in It for the Black People t-shirts.
You have a live broadcast or what?
You know what? Tell the man.
Tell the man.
Tell them. Oh, look, Sonya said she need that bread. She said, where the bag at?
Where the bag at?
She said she'll come get the food, but if it's time, if we got to work, she want that bag. But I'm going to tell you, September 17th, you do not want to miss us out in the Dan Ryan Woods. Shout out to Commissioner Stanley Moore, who got the permit for us, because you know, Commissioner Stanley, you know what?
Maybe we can have him on, too.
You know what? We're going to have Commissioner Stanley.
Is he bringing the pot?
You know what? Commissioner Stanley Moore, you know what? You bring the pot, we might give you a pass, man. Yeah, but I tell you, Charles, let me tell you though.
Penny an ounce.
You know, I got, yesterday, I had to tell you a real story. You know, Stanley Moore, I know these people in this pop, sometimes I be like, Commissioner, why don't you just flip? Because you know what, Charles? Stanley Moore is a stand-up guy. You know when them peoples came for me? Back in the day, in another life.
Peoples came for you.
Man, them alphabet boys ain't no joke.
They came for you?
Oh.
Man, you gotta tell us that story.
Oh, when the alphabet boys came for me.
In other words, maybe we just leave it alone.
Check it out. But no, just tell me, no, because I was good. Because when they found out they actually owed me money. But they didn't put that in the paper.
Those alphabet boys,
yeah.
I mean, that.
F-er-B's.
No. I thought it was an I.
No.
Oh, Lord, Lordy.
No, I had.
We surely don't want to talk about them.
So, but when nobody wanted to talk, the only person who stood, well, Gilbert Villegas and Stanley Moore were the only two people who stood by me. So, I just got to make sure that I show my brother some love. Because, man, you got to figure this pop tax out, though, Stanley. Real talk. Bring the pop to the What's in it for the black people. Maybe we'll forgive you. But I'm telling you, thank you to Stanley Moore for helping us get the permit. Because you know, Queen Sugar was not really trying to have the What's in it for the black people party permit approved.
Really?
Nah, I ain't gonna say she did it, but I'm just gonna say, you know, when you walk in and you got a What's in it for the black people shirt on, people start looking. The black people be like, I'm with you. No, they be like, now you know I can't tell.
But I thought the sheriff gave you those. It's not the sheriff that gives you a permit. It's
no.
It's part. What is it?
Forest Preserve.
Forest Preserve.
Oh yeah. Right. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I bet you as soon as dusk comes, they will be running us up out of there. But September 17th, Dan Ryan Woods. You do not want to miss the What's in it for the black people cookout. Charles is gonna be on the grill. I'm gonna get on the grill. You know what? Do you think we got any lions out there? They talk about eating meat. Can they cook some meat?
Who can buy some meat? Who gonna be buying all this meat?
Man, well, you know I can't do it on my salary.
What?
I can't do it on my salary.
I can't do it on mine either. I'm on a fixed income, dog.
Hey, man. You know what? We got to take donations. You know what? Kim Milton is gonna be in charge of that. Kim Milton. You know what?
All right, Kim, go for it.
Kim, start rounding it up.
Start rounding up the bag.
Round up the bag and get the food. Somebody get the shopping. Diaz.
Get the count right.
Nate.
Kim, get the count right.
Nate, can you cook, man?
They can't cook, man.
Nate, we're gonna put. We're gonna have Nate making the hate burgers. Nate gonna be sitting back like, y'all did it wrong. You know what, Charles? I tell you what, I love the Lions Den and all the members. Shout out to Tammy Matthews, Jacob Israel, D.S. Sanders, everybody that's out there all the time rocking with us. Charles, but this governor's race, we can't seem to get Tyrone to call. I think it's about time.
Juliana Stratton, has she called yet? I mean, we love to talk.
Oh, you know what? We got to ask Juliana Stratton where she is on National Teachers Academy, because you know she resents that right now.
Yeah, but we also would like to know where she is on some of the policies that the Pritzker administration.
I want to ask about the pop tax.
Huh?
I'm gonna ask
all
about the pop
kinds
tax.
of things. I mean, I think the lieutenant governor candidate for the most well-financed campaign should certainly come to the WVON Morning Show to talk to our very large audience
and growing.
And she absolutely should be here.
Charles, it's off. You know, JB when he first announced, bro. Day after he announced, he was right here on the WVON Morning Show. And then came back.
JB is a stand-up guy, man. He came back and he took some really hardcore questions, and you know he fielded them.
It's about time to get Chris Kennedy back in here too, man.
We got to get Chris Kennedy back in because you know I think he has an intriguing campaign. He doesn't do much advertising. He hasn't done much advertising, at least none that I've seen. But I think he's sort of laying in wait. He's keeping his powder dry. He's sort of doing a rope-a-dope on JB. This is a rope-a-dope campaign, letting JB just go at it, and then Chris Kennedy.
This is what that Mayweather did too, right?
Yeah, but you know, the man who invented the rope-a-dope is the greatest of all time. And I think that Chris Kennedy is doing a rope-a-dope on JB, and he's going to come out one of these rounds, and he's going to start landing some serious haymakers. Watch me.
Boy. Charles, that was like yesterday I was looking at a report. Said JB spent $9 million this quarter. Chris Kennedy spent like $700,000.
That's what I'm talking about. And he's still close. Now I heard some unconfirmed report that JB is now beginning to move the numbers a little bit because he's been trailing Kennedy for the longest. But now he's sort of moving the numbers real close, maybe even got drawn ahead of Chris Kennedy in the city among the black vote. But downstate, I think that's where Kennedy is going to surprise people because he's got that name.
Charles, you know, we talked about this yesterday at that place with Dan, but I still, Charles, am not, you know, I just know how clandestine Illinois is and how racially segregated we are.
Me too.
And it is just, I just did not, something about the guys in green being on the JB team does not feel right to me.
Are they on the JB team?
Yes. I mean, you got the speaker, you got his whole squad.
The speaker hasn't said anything about who he's with.
But you got to look at the staff that he's
You look at the staff and you look at the background, but then again, you explained to me in no uncertain terms that the speaker has his people everywhere. They're all over. You told me that.
Right.
See, because you've been in the game.
Man.
I'm just watching. You've been in the game.
Woo.
So I'm listening to you, Maze, right?
I just feel like there is a nefarious plot afoot. I just can't see how it's gonna be executed. But something just don't seem right. I've never seen them side. You know, they might fight each other, but when it comes together, boy, they all get together. So we'll stay tuned, Charles. Now, when we come back, we're gonna talk to Daniel Babachoff. That sounds like somebody Todd picked. Daniel Babachoff. He is the president of Charity Watch 8:30, and he'll be coming on at 8:30 to tell us what we should be looking for when we are going to make charitable contributions, particularly in Houston. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Post Facebook or tweet. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, with Charles Thomas. We'll be back. It's 8:30.
They got Howard Brooks from the
Pick him up.
He did, but I mean, you called, but I mean, you don't want to go call Teachers Academy again, do you?
Good morning. I'm
We're not amazed. You don't want to go back to Teachers Academy. It's Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So I'll get him when I get
Governor
off
Rauner
here.
yesterday signed an automatic voter registration law to make it easier their voter information.
I mean, that's tough, man, not having the phone today.
Right. Hey, Charles, you got people.
Man.
What?
Boy, one thing I don't do, I don't be talking about no sister hair situation.
As you talking about it.
No, man, my brother,
This is how they do.
man.
You know how
instigators
still
talking about that, man.
You know how instigators do? Let me tell you how instigators do. They be like, did you hear what May said? You heard?
Right.
Look,
You know,
he instigating right now. I ain't said nothing in the hour.
I call it signifying. He say instigating, I call it signifying. See, I'm signifying right now on Maze, because Maze, I think, you know, he just started a whole bunch of stuff, man. This is crazy. He's signifying, man. Woo! Boy, I'm gonna hear about this. I'm gonna go home today, close the door, say I ain't coming out till the coast is clear. Man, you know, some places you just don't go. You just don't go. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? That girl, man, you know, hey, man, Alderman Dow, you know, she used to play ball. She could ball, you know. She used to play ball. So she got some athlete in her, man, you know. She's a big lady. And if you had to bet, if there was a fight between Maze Jackson and Alderman Pat Dow, who'd you bet? Who'd you bet on? Seriously, a fight between Alderman Pat Dow and Maze Jackson. On whom would you put your money? I'm serious. What do you say? I don't hear nobody talking about $50. Antoine got $50 on the alderman. Hey, Antoine, you know, I ain't gonna fade you either, brother. I ain't got you faded on that one. No. I'm going with the alderman too. I'm going with the alderman. No. The alderman got that reach. Woo! Everybody betting on the alderman. Man, I'm telling you, man, look here, man. I got a thing going. If it's a fight between Maze Jackson and Alderman Pat Dow, everybody's betting on the alderman.
Hey, man.
Because she got that reach, man. You be hearing me snapping back. You hear me snapping back looking like Conor McGregor.
I'm going low,
man.
Bro. Man. I'm an MMA guy. I'm MMA.
No. I think Alderman Dow got you, man. I got you. He talking about her head. That's what it's based on, man. You don't be talking about the alderman like that. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing. Man, the crooked alderman. Alderman Pat Dow versus Maze. MMA rules. Is the hammer punch illegal? Well, if the hammer punch is illegal, I got to go with Alderman Dow. She about 6'3". Bam. She be busting Mays all upside his head. Really, he would. Mays had better stick and move. He better. 'Cause I don't know. Mays won't even show up. That's right, Nate. Mays would not show up. Because Mays would Mays. Oh, man. No. Man. They say she got the hammer punch.
Look, Joe.
If they legalize the hammer punch in MMA, you be.
Now I tell you what, where she
short ass.
This where she get me right here with the. She might dunk on me, but she ain't beating me.
Man, I don't know, man. You better leave that alone, Maze.
I ain't said nothing. I was going out the room. I ain't even have nothing. See, this is how this happens, right? Now I'm gonna be somewhere trying to mind my business, and I ain't gonna see. Then it's gonna be some person wanna bump into me.
Man, I can see her here snapping back. Jab. That's right. Leaving it alone. Leaving it alone. My name is Mess. Wes, I ain't in the mess. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it.
Now he don't want to be in it. He done spent a whole break instigating. This that bull, right? Right? See, this is how it happened to me all the time too. I'm minding my business. I done been to the bathroom, got coffee, told everybody good morning. I walk back in, and now I'm in the middle of a fight. Y'all taking bets. y'all out here taking bets, talking about what Maze, and I ain't had nothing to do it. Then he gonna say then at the end, I'm Bennett, I ain't in it. And you started it. See how black people do you.
I ain't been. I sure ain't in it.
You got a song?
Yeah.
You should have gotten to do the straighten out. Straighten it out. Oh, Charles, I'm changing your song. I'm changing it.
What? You're changing my song, man. You can't change my song. How you gonna change my song? How you gonna change my song? What's that? I mean, yeah. What? I mean, see that. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. The world of the sidekick. I was never the sidekick before I started working with this guy. Now he gonna change my song. See, welcome to my world. See what I'm saying? Man.
I ain't touch it. That's funny though. I'm just telling you, this morning show is not. This is supposed to be serious. I'm so serious.
The WVON lineup, chat room, blogs, photos,
Woo!
podcast, and more.
Okay, y'all, pay attention to the song. Instigator.
That's my song.
Oh. Bummy, help me tell you something. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my main man, Charles Thomas, in the building. And Charles, every day at 8:30 like we always do, it's Charles's choice.
Yeah, but I thought you preempted me there for a minute. But you know, I had to hear somebody say "Sookie now."
Sookie now.
Yeah.
Now, Charles, you said, I was going to usurp you, but that's your song, man. Because if it would have been up to me, I would have played something like this.
And what is that?
I whip my hair back and forth. This is in dedication. Or I would have probably went and found me some Lattimore. Right? If I could have found some Lattimore, something like that, you know what I'm saying?
Let's straighten it out.
Let's straighten it out.
Are you talking about somebody's hair?
Oh, you are, I'm not.
I don't have any hair, so I can't. Okay, yeah, well, let's
I'll
straighten
pull it
out.
to the left. You know, just tug it a little to the left.
Oh man, that's wrong, man. You talking about oh man, I thought you were talking about putting the hot comb straighten it out.
No.
Just
Just adjust it. You know,
to the right.
Symmetry, man.
Ride left, ride straight. You know, ride straight.
Look, that part in the middle gotta line up with your nose. When you do that, then that means you don't gotta say let's straighten it out.
We're trying to foster cooperation here. I'm trying
to help you out.
You ain't trying to help me out.
Just straighten it out.
I don't have any hair to straighten out. Are you talking about my baseball cap?
I just want everybody to straighten it out.
Ride right, ride left. They don't do that anymore, man.
Oh my goodness. WVON Morning Show, where Charles Thomas is the ultimate instigator. I just need to tell you, I left up out of here, and I knew next thing I was. What do they call those? Remember MTV used to have those claymation battles?
Yeah, you were in. Yeah,
how you have me in a claymation?
Well, we had the Facebook Live audience here involved in whether or not you should. What would happen if there were a combat? What is it, like a boxing match or an MMA match between you and an alderman, one of the aldermen? I'll just say Pat Dowell, the alderman Pat Dowell, who has some athletic credentials. She used to be a basketball player, you know, and she and people were taking bets on who they thought might win a match between Mays Jackson and Alderman Pat Dowell.
I won, of course.
No, the Facebook Live audience there was consensus that Pat Dowell would kick your Bolingbrook butt. There was a consensus among the Facebook Live audience.
Lest I be accused of now. Look, you know the next thing they'll be sending out something that says that I was against women or something. So I'm just gonna say this. I'm a humbly bow out, and I'm a concede, and I'm gonna be like, hit the bell, and just say.
This is all about like, who do you think would win the fight? And if they would use if she would be allowed to use the hammer punch, then you would be just out. You'd be knocked.
You making fun of my
out.
You know what, Charles? Let's get back to the show.
You should, because I think we've gone down a road that we will regret having traveled.
Not we, me. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Talk of Chicago. Now, a lot of you all heard us yesterday when we were discussing what was going on, the flooding in, the hurricane and flooding in Houston. And there was a lot of chatter regarding whether we should donate or who we should donate to and how we should do it. So, you know what? The man got on the phone, reached out, called a good friend of his, Daniel Borokoff. He is the president of Charity Watch, and he's going to tell us what we should be looking for. Daniel, welcome to the Talk of Chicago. How are you this morning?
Good. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Good morning. So, Daniel, you know, a lot of our listeners have friends and family. There is a Houston to Chicago pipeline, and so many of our listeners have friends and family in Houston, and they want to help, but they're not exactly sure how. Talk to me about what they can do.
Well, I think you need to break it up into short-term, intermediate, longer-term needs. Typically, 90% of the money flows in for emergency needs like food, shelter, medical care. Some of the typical groups are the American Red Cross and Salvation Army, but there are other groups that can really help out. You know, we've got them listed at CharityWatch.org. We've got a disaster alert. But what you want to do is you want to find groups that have a track record of being able to help in a disaster and know what the heck they're doing, because this isn't the time for amateurs here. You really you want to fund the groups that know how to handle it. But it's chaos, so expect the screw-ups and mishaps. It's gonna happen, right? So people need to have some understanding about that. But I'd also think about giving to community groups and churches that have a place on the ground there and know the people. I mean, you've got people, like Chicago. It's very diverse in Houston. You got a lot of Spanish-speaking people, Vietnamese-speaking people. You need to have groups that have volunteers and staffing that knows how to reach those people. Also, put things in perspective. The charities are really important, but the government does the heavy lifting. I mean, FEMA is already, distributing, thousands of packages of like food people have insurance, and there's going to be victims' compensation funds. So it's not all up to the charities. The charities is a sliver of it all. It's an important part. Also, watch this thing through and be aware that there's going to be sometimes charities try to take advantage. They raise more than they really need for what they're going to do, and then they might divert the money off to something else. So as this shakes out, what people can do is ask the charities, well, what do you need for what you're going to do? Though this is going to take a longer time, so probably give to the Red Cross early on. But then, as this thing continues, it's going to last for years. Probably people needing to get back on their feet. Then think about other groups. I mean, there's like food banks. There's charities that will help people, be able to relocate. Like if they have to, leave these devastated areas where they can actually have a job. So there's certainly a lot to consider. The other thing.
Go ahead.
The other thing is, we got social media now, right? Everybody's on Facebook and Snap and these kind of sites. Well, just because you got a friend that sends you something to help somebody doesn't mean they checked it out and vetted it. You really got to make sure that that it's a real family that's hurting, and you'll get people that'll promote and advertise themselves and that may even be legitimate victims, but then they get more. They get more than everybody else. Is that fair? So the good thing about the nonprofit groups is they actually scrutinize the needs. They find legitimate victims, and then they try to distribute in a fair way. So it's not whatever who's ever able to advertise themselves gets most of gets more of the money.
Okay, Daniel, let me interrupt right there.
Sure.
I've seen a bunch of churches up here telling people to bring items, water, clothes, food, etc., because they want to deliver truckloads of items down to Houston. Is that a good idea or not?
Well, why are you incurring shipping costs from Chicago? Wouldn't it be better to buy this stuff down there, to get this stuff down there? I mean, maybe it could, maybe it could drop off the truck, or maybe take a detour. It's not as safe. Also, too, you want to make sure that the charities or the officials get exactly what they need, and because there's a lot of sorting things out. There's things getting stuck, clogging up the supply lines. So it's like needed medicines or needed nutritious food, doesn't get through. Warehouses can get full. I know people have seen, like, after disasters, there's often piles of junk, just that aren't labeled and to go through. And see, fortunately, a lot of the big companies, what they're doing is, like, say somebody like an Anheuser-Busch or Walmart, they can put loads of stuff, out there for what's needed in quantity, so it's all sorted out, and it's, you bring in like a lot of water bottles or a lot of blankets or a lot of whatever people need in bulk.
Okay, I got to stop you right there, Daniel. I got to stop you. We got to go to traffic and weather. When we come back, we will continue this conversation. We're talking to Daniel Borkoff. He is the president of Charity Watch 830. Charity Watch. When we come back, Daniel will ask you to tell people where they can go to find out a list of verified charities that they can donate through. We'll be back after traffic and weather.
More of the morning show.
Oh my God! Like,
I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, me either. You got the camera, man.
I don't know what this guy, yeah. I don't know, but the cat, guess, he knows what he's talking about. I think people really, at this point, probably need to call their family down there to find out if their family's all right. And I mean, I think people with family down there and close friends down there, I think they, right now, we're trying to reestablish communications with them. And that to me is key for the first piece. Establish communication with your loved ones. Make sure they're all right, that they've got what they need, or if there's anything you can do to help them. And then you can think about helping some other people down there. I know I think my wife got family down there. She does, in Texas, and it moved around. And we try to secure them first, and then think about other folks. Because I've never heard of this organization that this guy represents. I guess it's a sort of a watchdog organization.
It's the man's friend that I ain't even honored. I'm saying, like, well, I ain't gonna hate on him. I mean, I know that.
You can't hate on him, you know. I mean, it's a big deal what's going on down there, but
we gotta figure out something. See, that's why I wanted that Ahmed call, because he'll tell it to us. Even though he says it's universal, he's also talking about he's gone through 3 different hurricane floods, and so he's telling us things that black people need to be doing, like getting in line with FEMA now, calling in, putting in your claim. That, like, this right here, like what I wanted to do was to talk about what do we need to do for our families, what do we need to be telling them, you know, who do they need to call and get that. This guy is just saying everybody's a scam or don't scam, so we're going to get him to tell us where they can go to their site, and then we're going to go back and wrap it up. And I can't believe y'all think that. See, I can't even have this conversation because, you know, somebody will say that I was talking about some sort of, he's threatening me. So I got to be cool. I would say.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, they'll be like, Mace Jackson was on the radio offering to commit violence against. Then they'll be talking to then the next thing you know, they'll be trying to blame it on my, you know what. See?
Mace, man, you know, you serve a purpose, man.
Right.
You absolutely do. You bring some humor in the morning. It's a morning show, man.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Wake up, have a laugh. I mean, you know.
Laugh, right.
Laugh. I mean, come
Joke.
on. Have fun. Yeah, man, you know.
Really that serious? Who cares what Mace said?
I don't want to have one of those serious news shows, you know. My goodness.
We're back.
That sounds like Buddy Guy. No, that sounds like Stevie Ray. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. We are talking to Daniel Borokoff. He is the president of Charity Watch. Daniel, we were talking with you, and before we let you go, tell our listeners how they can find out a list of reputable, verified charitable organizations if they want to help in Houston.
Yes, they can go to CharityWatch.org and find a list of vetted charities. For people that don't know Charity Watch, we do a deep dive. We don't just repeat what the charity says, which is a lot of what's on the internet. So go to CharityWatch.org, click on Top Rated. You can see the groups that are particularly outstanding in dealing with this horrible hurricane in Houston.
Awesome. Daniel, well, we have all of you all in our hopes and prayers down in Houston. We pray that you guys make it through, and if there's anything else, you make sure you call us back, and we'll be trying to make sure that we provide some support. Ladies and gentlemen, again, that was Daniel Borokoff, president of Charity Watch down in Houston. Charles?
Man, it's a lot of controversy already developing over relief efforts in Houston. I mean, this story about this, remember the story about, have you read the story about Pastor Joel Osteen?
Man, everybody's favorite white preacher is getting dragged.
Dragged, man.
They are dragging old Joe, man.
And, you know, the thing about it is, I think it all started when he said there will be no service this Sunday at the Compact Center, where he puts in 15,000 people or whatever every Sunday.
Per service.
That's the television show that he has. It's from there. And apparently he told people on Sunday, 2 days after the hurricane made landfall, there would be no service on Sunday. Now, some media people took that to mean that he closed the doors to the church.
You mean the church wasn't open?
Closed the doors to the church. I mean, they just went nuts, man, about this. And I'm saying that, hey, the guy just said, hey, don't come down here, driving down here in the middle of a hurricane to come to church on Sunday. I think that's what he was saying. Am I right or wrong? But it seems like certain people in the media took that to mean the guy was closing the doors of the church when the people needed the church most.
Now, I'm going to tell you what, Charles.
What?
I was a little bothered on Sunday night. Let me tell you. You know I'm Mr. What's in it for the black people, but I like that white boy. On Sunday mornings.
So what were you saying, though?
I was upset when I turned on the TV and there was no Joel Osteen.
There wouldn't have been a football game that day if there was a day, if there were a baseball game. I mean, they would have called everything off that day that was going to mean a lot of people had to go to a certain place because there was a hurricane coming on. Of course the guy didn't have church. They probably wouldn't have church at my church if, in fact, there was some kind of huge tornado going on Sunday morning. They would call it off.
Well, you know what? I think that they tried to make it very similar to the Superdome, right? And they, I think that people they've been talking about all these comparisons to Katrina. Sometimes they got to make the narrative fit the story. Or wait a minute, the story fit the narrative. And so I think that may have been what we saw. I like Joel Osteen. I can't front. But, Charles, great show today. Boy, this National Teachers Academy.
Not going to go away, and the school board won't make a final decision on it until February.
Boy,
that means there's a lot of time left for a whole lot of...
Charles, I'm still tripping on this email where the alderman says she thinks that they're going to try and make it a segregation argument.
Or a race argument or something.
She was calling this race baiting? Is that what that sounds like?
I guess she was. She was saying
was she planning to figure out a way to disenfranchise poor black children? That ain't the way to go, man. Charles, I just want to know, when is it going to be back in style to represent for black people?
Has it ever been in style? I guess it was for a minute.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you, Charles. I probably 30 years ago, I was thinking, I keep thinking back. I don't know if you know State Representative Art Turner Sr. But do you know what he told me they did one time in protest in the House of Representatives, on the floor of the House of Representatives? The black legislators all dressed up in black and white jail suits and had balls and chains and went to the floor to protest their treatment. Could you imagine something like that happening these days?
Marsh would not have that. Marsh would not have that today, man. He'd take people out to the hot box.
The shoot. Charles, and I'm going to tell you, I still think this whole thing about this school funding, I want to tell everybody, expect to get in the mail. You're going to hear something about your state legislator telling you how he didn't vote for school vouchers and he didn't vote for this the first time. But then they all went back and voted for it the second time. It's like this stuntery with our people has to stop. Stop playing games with black kids. I was reading all these quotes about how they were all concerned about taking away or disenfranchising and why should rich people get the chance to go to school. But they all went, it's so many of them that went to private schools and got their own kids in private schools.
Exactly.
I tell the story all the time. I feel like if before you stand up and make a giant proclamation about you fighting for the kids, you gotta at least say, full disclaimer though, I'm not putting my kids there.
Right. I mean, it's just like the mayor and the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools.
Stop it!
Yeah. Okay, I know.
You do not talk about...
They don't like you to talk about that, but I mean...
Ellen Joe deserves a future!
The optics of that are just horrific. When don't they know that? Don't they understand?
No, Charles, you gotta understand they got people saying, yeah, boss, that's a good one. They'll fall for that one. They'll love that one. You know what? Take them this piece of BS. They'll love that one. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM, and I just want to declare for the record, I had absolutely nothing to do with the MTV Battle Royale that occurred on Facebook Live. I love women. I love them all. I ain't do it.
What? I mean, you don't have to be ashamed of that, man.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, you
couldn't win the fight anyway. You couldn't win it anyway.
Dog, first, okay, so wait. You took Willie Wilson's side over me for the mayor. Now you choosing... You know what? Maybe you can get that straightened out. Let me just help my man understand. Bro, at least I got my symmetry right. At least I got... Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. For Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Sonia Escobar, the musical director of the Soul Plane, for Charles Thomas, and for all of y'all that just can't seem to straighten it out and get it right, you can still tell them, Maze said we out of here. Peace.
WVON.
Let's straighten it out.
Let's straighten it out.
Let's straighten it out. You gotta.
You see a girl come with a wig, cocked douche. They call that cocked ace douche, you know.
Hold on.
Cocked ace douche. You know?
You be like, you know how you be looking and you be like, you be trying to figure, is it you? Like, you be trying.
It's just cocked ace douche, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Boy, y'all cold.
Not
at the pile.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm here to tell y'all.
Oh man, I tell you, bro.
I'm excited for the cookout, y'all.
Oh yes, we cook. Oh yeah. We gotta get that together.
I'll bring that carne asada.
We are committed now.
I'll bring carne asada.
All right, y'all. Say bye. Say bye to everybody.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
How many we gonna get out there, man? We end up with 300 or 400 people out there. We gotta feed the masses. Man.
Peace. We gonna tell them this ain't Jesus with the fishes and the breads. Y'all got to bring some. Peace.
Yeah, man.